Brought to you by DraftKings Fantasy Sports. World Series game number 1 starts tonight in Texas. First the Rangers and the D-backs. 5 p.m. first pitch there. Zach Gallen on the mound for the D-backs against Nathan Eovaldi for the Rangers. Check out what DraftKings has to offer this season with code SPORTS because life's more fun when you're in on the action. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Age and eligibility restrictions do apply. Void where prohibited. See DraftKings.com for details today.
Getting you all set for that drive home.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour 1, Jon and Jim on this Friday afternoon. A lot of Padres discussion to get into. A lot of he said, she said, back and forth with AJ Preller and Bob Melvin. And also Juan Soto's future is in question. JB Long is the voice of the Rams. He joins us typically every Friday. He will this week as well. Rams and Cowboys coming up this weekend. JB Long will join us at 4:30. We should start with really one of the coolest events I've ever attended anywhere, which was last night's event put on by the Mesa Foundation, recognizing San Diego State's basketball team that made the national championship game last year, which featured a ring ceremony as well. We didn't even know really going into the day if we were going to stick around for the event itself. So thank you to Jeff Smith at the Mesa Foundation, Matt Soria, San Diego State basketball, everyone associated with this event. Jeff Smith, his wife Wendy, Matt Soria, San Diego State basketball, Richard Stern in sports information. I'm missing people. It was as cool of an event. Like, I'm trying to think of something cooler. Your wedding better be good if it's going to top the event that we were at last night. It's got to be very good.
Well, here's the thing. So, yes, thank you to everybody at San Diego State for allowing us to be there. Talked to a lot of people. It was kind of cool that people would come up to us and say, "Oh yeah, I love the show. I listen to you guys." Like even the great
Like,
Steve.
you do?
I thought the coolest moment of the night, by far, hands down, no questions asked. We saw Coach Steve Fisher there.
Yes,
the legendary Steve Fisher, and we talked to him for a couple minutes. And he mentions that he listens to us all the time, driving to and from with his granddaughter, and says he loves the show. And I was like, wait, you listen to us? I feel like I gotta butt myself up more if the legend Steve Fisher is listening to our show. But I thought that was the coolest moment to hear Coach Fisher talk about that he listens to this little old show on his drives with his granddaughter.
Here's the other thing. I thought the whole event was spectacular. The coolest part for me, and by the way, I thought Ted Leitner was amazing as MC.
Ted was awesome.
Ted's incredible. In that type of environment, there's nobody like Ted.
He's made for that.
But then when the players opened up the rings, they all did it at the same time. And I don't think any of them were expecting the rings to be like backlit. I didn't know this was a thing either. But like in some of these now ring boxes, it's like you open the box and a light goes on. So it like kind of further, makes the ring stand out. It was really cool. The players reacting to that. I mean, we had Lamont Butler on yesterday. He's like, we live for banners and rings. Like these are the things that you play for. And to get a ring that says national championship game finalist for that team, and to know we're so close. You can hear, of course, the Aztecs opener a week from Monday right here on San Diego Sports 760. I don't know if there's going to be a lot of events that I'm attending that are comparable to that in the future, other than your wedding.
Other than my wedding, yes. It was just cool. There was an auction. They raised a lot of money. Almost $130,000 for the Mesa Foundation last night with auctions. I know, Brent, you were wondering about the food selection there. They had a 4-course meal. It was like a
filet mignon.
There's like a spinach and cranberry walnut goat cheese like salad to start.
Yeah.
They had a
butternut squash soup.
Butternut squash soup with like candied walnuts in it.
Okay. That's good.
They had filet mignon with jumbo shrimp as the main course.
That's good.
And then
it's good to have an oxymoron in your dinner course.
And then a assortment of desserts for the very end.
Like
those like small circular
like
desserts.
Tiramisu, little cheesecake. There was also a little like fruit cup. There was like a little chocolate cake. They're like little tiny little desserts that I'm sure everybody cares about so much.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm glad you mentioned all 4 of the courses and gave all the description of each of the courses. I'm sure everyone.
But the ring, the ceremony, hearing Dutch, watching the videos was pretty awesome. And I know me and you, every time we were watching one of the videos of their road to the Final Four and to the national championship game, we were kind of like cheering, like, oh man, like,
I wonder what happens next.
Yeah, I wonder what happened next. And everyone was, getting up and applauding. And it was just a cool environment, cool atmosphere, cool moment. And I think everybody that we talked to was saying, like, okay, this is the final night that we're going to, at least the team, that we're going to really enjoy the moment, enjoy what we did last year. But after tonight, it's full steam ahead on this upcoming season.
And by the way, I already felt it in talking to these players all offseason. Lamont Butler, if forced to talk about it, he'd prefer talking about the upcoming season. Same thing with Jaden Ledee.
Mm-hmm.
He's got no desire. He's very obviously he's thrilled to be associated with what happened last year. But they've turned the page. They're ready for this upcoming season. We'll have the opener for you. There's an exhibition game Monday night against San Marcos at Viejas Arena a week from Monday. San Diego State for real against Cal State Fullerton. They will raise the banners. That'll be a week from Monday night at Viejas Arena, a game you can hear right here on San Diego Sports 760. All right, there's a lot to get into. There's Juan Soto's future. We'll get into that. There's also this back and forth. I don't know if it's a he said, she said. I don't know if we'll ever get all of the truth related to the relationship over 2 years between Bob Melvin and AJ Preller, but Kevin Acee wrote a detailed article today that published analysis, what AJ Preller says and what he means when it comes to hiring a Padres manager. But among that article, or in that article, was a very interesting quote, I thought, from Bob Melvin, where he said this: I just feel that with the narrative spun toward the end of the year that seemed to grow and wasn't going away, I recognize that the best thing for the organization and everyone involved is moving on. I was fully committed to coming back, but based on further conversations after the season, I'm not sure the feeling was mutual.
Whoa.
That's Bob Melvin to Kevin Acee today.
Hold your horses there,
You didn't
John.
see that?
I know I did see that.
Okay, I didn't know the way you reacted to it.
My response to that is, wait, didn't AJ Preller the other day say that they wanted to have Bob Melvin back, but they knew that Bob's dream job was San Francisco, and that's why they allowed it to happen, because they wanted to do what's best for Bob? That's interesting.
No, what's interesting is, and maybe the truth somewhere in between, and like I said, I don't know if we get the full,
we'll never get the full
back
story.
and forth here, really what this relationship was like, other than obviously it wasn't good. But by AJ and the organization granting permission, that's all you need to know. It goes back to that. So Bob, there's some validity to what Bob is saying when he says, I'm not sure the feeling was mutual. If the feeling was mutual, and if Bob's being factual and saying, I wanted to be back, but AJ Preller allowed the Giants to interview him, then clearly the Padres' intention was not to have him back. Once you allowed him to interview, he wasn't coming back. So in that regard, what Melvin is saying, again, if he wanted to be here, there's some validity to it, because he's saying, I'm not sure the feeling was mutual that they wanted me back. And that makes sense because they allowed him to interview.
I read the whole thing.
That's amazing.
It's a long piece. It's a long piece by Kevin. And the more I'm reading it, the more I'm thinking to myself, still, how in God's green earth is AJ Preller still the general manager of this team?
That's your takeaway from this article.
This is not normal for a team that wants to be successful to be doing. The things that Preller does just doesn't scream to me successful organization at all. The behind the back, the bickering, the not on the same page. It's just a lot of things that you see about AJ Preller. You think to yourself, how is he the manager? And also, how can you ever believe anything he says? Like, the whole premise of the piece was let's translate what AJ Preller means.
Right, exactly.
Because there was a line in this article that I thought was just hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
It was a paragraph. Says, many people, including those who have been close to him, AJ Preller, says that AJ Preller can push the boundaries of truth. Shocking. Sometimes that seems to be in the name of guarding information. Sometimes people see it as nefarious, which has served to feed a lack of trust. Several people told privately by those who have worked for Preller say he essentially talks in circles when he does not want to give an answer, a concept that rings true for anyone who has listened to his news conferences. Preller's communication issues also range somewhat contradictorily from desiring many voices to sometimes not speaking consistently enough with those outside his inner circle. Like, that to me, it's just, whenever you hear Preller talk and you get this feeling a lot from him of confusion and having to second guess, like, wait, what was the question? Like, what just happened? That right there, pretty quickly when AJ Preller is avoiding answering a question or avoiding telling a semblance of the truth at all. And it's really annoying. It is, because you want transparency from the franchise. Maybe you're not going to ever get that from any franchise, but at some point, with how bad things have gotten here in the last couple years, two of the last 3 years has been really bad. You would like, as a fan, transparency, and that's the problem, is you're never going to get from AJ.
Yeah, and he's maybe not paid to be fully transparent.
No.
Here's my issue. I feel, and maybe we're accountable for some of this as well, I feel like we're just kind of beating a dead horse with, like, here's why AJ should not be general manager, but he is the general manager,
right?
So we're dissecting like a living being, like he's still here. Why are we like, he did this wrong? And remember, in 2021 he did this wrong.
It's not changing.
And then this whole Melvin Preller dynamic, we're dissecting. Well, it's over.
Yeah.
It's done. They're not going to reunite. It is what it is. I'm still probably with what most are saying, which is it's more on Preller than Melvin.
Yeah,
both are likely at fault. I can read quotes from Melvin. I can read quotes from Preller.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't there. I wasn't a fly on the wall.
Doesn't it feel like, at the end of the day, we talk about, this person won. I think they both won in their own minds. I think Preller won because he
maybe
doesn't want to deal with Melvin anymore. A guy that's well respected around baseball. Just kind of weird how he doesn't want to deal with that. And then Melvin, who doesn't want to work with Preller anymore because he thinks Preller is a psychopath. And so I think they both, in their minds, feel like they won, which for them personally, I mean, that's kind of all that you would want from both parties if you're AJ or if you're Bob. Like, I won.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is to find out if either actually win. They may both. They may not, either of them, or maybe one wins. As in, does he have success in San Francisco? Very possible. Or it's also possible that it doesn't work out. And then you got AJ Preller. Does he have success with his next manager? Very possible that it doesn't work out. There's a scenario as well where it does. So they might think that they've won, but let's see what happens in 2024 and beyond. All right, 844-570-1360. We're reacting to this. Again, it's a very lengthy piece written today from Kevin Acee about deciphering words that AJ Preller uses, but also his relationship between himself and Bob Melvin. But like, at this point, Melvin's moved on. Padres have moved on. There's a managerial search underway. I mean, what more is there really to say?
It reminded me, and I don't think you've seen it, but and I'm sure Brent maybe has, it's the Key and Peele skit of Translator. And it's where one of them is pretending
the Obama translator.
And, it's like what this person's saying and then the translation of it. And it's like, I want to do this. And the translator is like, you suck. And that's what I feel like Preller or Acee was trying to do there, is translating what he is saying to basically a bunch of words that come out to be that AJ Preller is a liar when speaking to the media, and AJ Preller is extremely hard to work with.
844-570-1360. Dave wants to get us started off here today on a Friday on Jon and Jim. If you want to weigh in, 844-570-1360. And Dave, you're on with Jon and Jim. Thanks, man.
Well, the beat goes on, and look, let's call AJ for what he is at this point, and it's demonstrated and it's been proven time again. He's a liar.
Yeah,
and that's it. And I would urge those good people in the Padres front office, and there's a lot of them. There's a lot of good people there, to somehow, some way, get into the owner and say, you know what, Mr. Owner, this is unacceptable. He is making all of us look bad, all of us, because the reputation of the Padres across the nation right now, you can listen to what's being said nationally, and it's not good. It's an embarrassment. So, and one last thing. I hope the San Diego sports media that collectively goes to these so-called Zoom meetings will never, ever, ever participate in another one of these fiascos, because it enables a liar to continue lying. And that's exactly what happened under our nose. And it's got to stop. No other big league city especially those back east. You think they would tolerate this nonsense from AJ?
Well, what option? Real quick, Dave. What are you saying? So you're saying next time on a Zoom press conference, it's October 3rd. The season's over. AJ Preller speaks with the media. He says Bob Melvin's going to be back. What would you like the media to do in response to that?
I would collectively tell AJ to go to hell.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
write a freaking press release. It's just as effective, and it's easier at that point.
That's fair.
Basically the same thing.
Dave, thank you. That's fair, but it doesn't work like that. These are credentialed media members, and by the way, we don't then call the Padres PR department and say next time write a press release. Don't make AJ. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
So you can think that burn this thing down. He's the worst general manager in baseball, and people ask questions that are critical in nature, but you don't go in there and say, AJ, you shouldn't have your job, and here's why. I mean, nobody does that. That's utter stupidity, in my opinion, to treat the press conference like it's about you, the media member, as opposed to the person that is actually representing the organization.
Yeah, and everybody that is in the media in this town knows that to get the truth, or at least somewhere close to the truth, and get a story is to not use a press conference to write a story. Like,
that's a good way to look at it too.
It's like, okay, AJ's having a press conference. Of course, we're going to be there and ask him the questions. But am I going to use this as like 100% fact that everything he says?
No, of course not.
Not even close.
Of course not. But I don't know if this goes back to the initial point. Like, do people use 100% of what Bill Belichick uses as fact in his press conferences, or
good reporters,
Andrew Friedman or Dave Roberts? Like, is everything that they're telling the media each and every day something that should be treated as gospel? Is that how professional sports work? I don't think so.
The good media members know that's not how
Right.
Like,
exactly.
It works.
So you decipher it.
Yeah, you decipher it, and then you go and check your sources, and you go to talk to people and be like, okay, what's the truth here? Because
Listen,
you're not going to get from AJ.
AJ clearly made a massive miscalculation in saying that Bob Melvin was going to be back 2 days after the season, and then this happening. This is a terrible look on AJ Preller and the organization. Make no mistake. We all agree on that. I don't know, though, with the benefit of hindsight, what any media member should have done about it. And I guess with the benefit of hindsight, if they put out a statement on Monday after the season, they should have left it at that. Why is AJ Preller going to speak 2 days later if everything that he said doesn't come to fruition? He looks really bad when he says Bob Melvin's going to be back and 2 weeks later he's not. And that's on the organization. That's on AJ Preller. We all agree. That looks really dumb and bad.
And you just said it, John. I mean, it is beating a dead horse. There's no more. We know. Everybody knows. This is all something that was not common knowledge, but I feel like in the circles around baseball, it was talked about, and anything else you heard from the organization publicly that disputed that is going to be wrong, because everybody knows kind of more to the truth, which is not anything that AJ says publicly to the media. So at this point in time, like, it's a beating of the dead horse. It's over with. Okay. Both AJ and Bob got what they wanted. Bob wanted out. He couldn't work with Preller anymore. Right. Preller wanted Bob out. It was almost a forcing out situation on his end. And he allowed the Giants to come calling. And it's over with now. And now you just sit and hope and pray, if you're a Padres fan, that whoever the next manager is can work with AJ at least for a couple years. And then in that time, this team can win.
The reason internal is more likely than external is all the external candidates see it like we do.
Yeah.
They see this mess. They have two eyes and they've got two ears, and they heard what AJ Preller said about his manager. They can see his track record of a handful of managers in 9 years. You know, you got people in house like Mike Schilt and Ryan Flaherty. They've already signed up for the circus. They're already here. And there's only 30 of these jobs. So they're valuable jobs. And this roster is good enough to win. I don't know at what rate, but it's good enough to win. But the external candidates, do they want to play this song and dance with AJ Preller coming in? Or is it just more likely that, well, you have Mike Schilt here, you have Ryan Flaherty here, and this is the direction in which they're going to go? That's probably more likely than anything else.
All you need to know is you have somebody in your organization. I'm talking to AJ. You have someone in your organization that is quoted in saying, we're probably not the place a lot of people would want to end up.
Yeah. From earlier in the week, you're saying?
From the article at Dennis Road.
Yeah.
Kind of all you need to know.
And that's what, I mean, we've been saying it. I specifically been saying, I'm like, it's not the job some people think it is. Here's why. Preller.
Yeah.
Here's why. Clubhouse dynamic. Here's why. Payroll.
Mhm.
Like, this isn't rocket science stuff. For people that are applying to be the manager, the next manager of the Padres, they're more aware of this than I am.
Yeah.
And they want to put themselves, by the way, to be in a position to be successful. They don't want to be blown out in a year and a half.
This is an extremely difficult job to be the manager of this team with everything that you just mentioned there.
It's challenging. I'm not saying there's not a reward possibility.
And it could work, but the thing is, it's like you're sitting there, you're a diehard Padres fan, and you're thinking to yourself, can we please have what Peter Seidler wants and that stability for longer than 2 years?
Right.
Can we go like, I don't know, let's start out with three seasons of consistent winning and 0 articles on BS, on drama, on dysfunction, on clubhouse problems. Can we just, I don't know, focus of all of our focus is on the field and wins and losses and what happens in the games? Because it's exhausting, dude. It is exhausting. Cover this team for a long time, and it's every year something new. And it feels like a lot of times we're never talking about on field. It's always behind the scenes crap.
It's likely not changing, would be my guess, in 2024, unless they win and win at a high clip. All right, on the other side, speaking of winning, can you do it without Juan Soto? Dennis Lin weighing in today on Juan Soto's future. Plus, later this hour, Jon Heyman has a potential manager candidate for the Padres. JB Long is the voice of the Rams. They have the Cowboys this weekend. He'll join us at 4:30. We're just getting started. It's Friday afternoon. Stay with us on Jon and Jim. All right, on the other side, the latest on Juan Soto's future with the Padres. Dennis Lin weighing in today. That's next.
All right, this update is brought to you by DraftKings Fantasy Sports. World Series gets underway tonight in Arlington, Texas. Game 1 between the D-backs and the Rangers. 5:07 first pitch there. Zach Gallen on the mound for the D-backs versus Nathan Eovaldi for the Rangers. Check out what DraftKings has to offer this season with code SPORTS, because life's more fun when you're in on the action. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Age and eligibility restrictions do apply. Void where prohibited. See DraftKings.com for details today.
All right, shout out to our friends at Jersey Mike's. They just swung by with sandwiches, Jim. You pick one up from our buddy Yo.
Yes.
This is right by the office, right?
Off Murphy Canyon Road. I go there all the time.
I know you're always bringing it in. I go there. I pick up the number 14 vegetarian sub.
I go with the number 8 club.
Oh, do you?
Usually I go mini route, because the mini route you can get rewards points, and after a certain amount you can get a free sub. So that's the route I go. But
I like it.
I got a ham and provolone from Jersey Mike's, and thank you to Yo.
Yes, thank you, Yo. And by the way, if you're looking for anything in terms of catering, Jersey Mike's makes it super simple. Like if you're just
Super
looking
easy.
you're looking to feed 10, 20,
Yeah.
subs makes it easy. And you can do that with our friends over at Jersey Mike's. Dennis Lynn's mailbag, always a good topic of conversation.
It's always good little nuggets here and there.
Today, writing, of course, about AJ Preller and Bob Melvin, but also Juan Soto. The line that to me really stood out is this.
I know exactly what line it is.
There's two lines. Here's the line before the line. Okay, so he said, as early as this summer, Padres officials did not dismiss the idea of listening to trade inquiries involving Soto. Okay, that's fine. They maybe were out of it. You could have argued that. Then they swept the Texas Rangers. We're going to win the World Series, and they changed the course of the franchise.
Yeah, one series.
But he writes this after that. When the team treks to South Korea in March, there seems to be a decent chance Soto won't be on the flight. So adding further layers to the idea that it's not just there's a 1 in 100 they could move Juan Soto. There's a decent chance when the season starts, Juan Soto won't be on the team. Is essentially what he's saying. We'll see. You know this is going to heat up around the winter meetings, which are in Nashville this year. Yep. You know there'll be conversation about Juan Soto's future. Before then, we're going to find out what the Padres payroll is, maybe, from someone.
Well, I don't think we're going to fully know until the start of next year.
Maybe not. But if we get an indication it's coming down, you're only going to hear more about the idea that Juan Soto is going to potentially be dealt this offseason by the Padres.
And I just want to clear this up real quick. Reports are not somebody saying that they think the Padres should trade Juan Soto. I just want to put that out there. When someone says, I think they should, that's not like a report.
No, but what is a report is that the Yankees called on Juan Soto and the Padres listened.
Secondly, what happened yesterday, and Dr. Darren talked a lot about it today, with the line in Kevin's article of it was known throughout the organization that Bob preferred for them to move off of Soto.
It was two days ago because we talked about it here in studio. Remember that?
My days are all mixed up.
Yeah, but I remember we talked about it in studio.
Anyway. And everyone's like, oh, I'm so glad Bob's gone. How could you want to trade Juan Soto? So you better have the same energy for AJ Preller if and when he trades Juan Soto. Because Bob's not a general manager. He's the manager. He's the coach. All right? He's the dugout guy.
Mm-hmm.
AJ is the one that makes the moves. So shouldn't, I don't know, the anger and the being upset if they trade Juan Soto be directed at the person that will actually be responsible for trading Juan Soto?
So you're thinking it's more of by including a line like that in an article, it's basically saying hey, let's be honest, there's some blame here to go Bob's way. He tried moving Juan Soto.
He can't move Juan Soto. Season. How could Bob move Juan Soto? It's not his job.
A, he can't. And B, when we read that line a couple days ago and talked about it, we're like, well, what is the... we need more than this. What is the context? Are we talking about July of 2023? Are we talking about the offseason after 2022? Are we talking about this upcoming offseason? Yeah. What is the reason in which Bob Melvin thinks the organization is better off without Juan Soto, who we mentioned a couple of days ago, played every game?
Because, look,
he started every game.
If they keep Juan Soto on the team for the entirety of next year and they lose Juan Soto to free agency, I can't get upset at the organization because they traded for a guy that they said they wanted for 3 playoff runs minimum. And if they can't re-sign a guy, okay, that's fine. He goes somewhere else. Another team offered more money. You can't. Yeah. What can you do? If you make an attempt and you make an offer and then he says no and he goes somewhere else, how can you truly be upset at the organization at that point? You can't. You can be disappointed for sure. But I feel like
depends on what happens in 2024.
Right. But then my point would be, if you end up trading Juan Soto this offseason, I feel like fans are going to lose their freaking mind.
Well, yeah, you think? I mean, I would hope so.
And it will be a even worse look on Preller.
How do you sell it? I mean, we've been saying this for weeks. You can't sell moving Juan Soto.
No.
The only sale... And by the way, your GM's gone at this point, so I don't know why you trust the lame duck GM to do it. If you're 10 under at the deadline and you move him, why would Preller be the guy to move him? He's not going to be back in 2025. If you're 10 under at the deadline and you're moving Juan Soto at the trade deadline before he's a free agent, so you're not getting near what you gave up. I mean, not getting. And by the way, you're not getting the same thing you gave up if you move him tomorrow.
You're trading him for 50 cents on the dollar. It may be less.
Kyle Glaser thought they could do very well. We had him on earlier in the week, he thought they could do well.
Prospects
if you move him in July,
I mean,
if you move him in July, you're getting 50 cents on the dollar. I don't know if you move him now if you get 50 cents on the dollar.
Let's go 75 cents on the dollar.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle Glaser thought you could get a real package. I mean, how could you not? It's Juan Soto going into age 25 season.
But he's got 1 year left.
Which is amazing. You get Juan Soto for a potential, postseason run. I mean, if you're the New York Yankees, you're willing to move heaven and earth, I would think, for Juan Soto. There's probably other teams that would do that.
And I said the other day, if AJ is going to go down this path and the organization is going to go down the path of trading Juan Soto, don't settle. You can't.
I'm not moving him.
I mean, either.
But I would imagine there'd be real legitimate interest in 1 full year of 25-year-old Juan Soto. I am not moving him.
If the majority reason that you're moving him is because you need to cut costs and that to me is just the most unacceptable type of excuse and reason ever, because you put yourself in this situation.
Yeah, a little bit, but then we go back to the Machado 350
and the Bogarts 280.
But the Machado 350 again, AJ's going to take the fall for it. But
Darvish 100.
But I've been told that the Machado 350 is not Preller. So when he traded for Soto, did he know they were going to give 350 to Machado at the time? And does that now change the calculus because they don't have that money anymore?
But also the 280s on Preller. Would you say that too? We just say that the 280 for Bogarts is more on Preller than the 350 is on Preller for Manny.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The 280 for Bogarts.
What's the worst what's the worst contract right now?
They're both really bad contracts.
Pick one.
I would pick probably Bogarts 280.
See, I'd pick Bogarts 280
yeah.
too.
And the Machado 350 is a bad contract.
They're both at this point in time not great, but I would feel like the Bogarts is worse, and that's on Preller.
Yeah, it's true. And everyone's responsible for this mess.
I know,
including AJ.
But he's the ringleader, dude.
I know.
Front of the line. He's the guy. He's the head.
All right, let's go to the phones. 844-570-1360. I'm not even sure what we're talking about. 844-570-1360.
We never know
Matt,
what we're
you're on
talking
with Jon and Jim. Thanks for calling in.
What's going on, gentlemen?
What's up, man?
It's unforgivable to make the trade to give away the controllable prospects that they had to get Soto and not re-sign him, and especially if the reason is that you spent that money with Bogarts. Bogarts is 5 years older than Soto and nowhere near the player. So when you made that trade for Soto, it was you were going to give him the bank, and the price has to be damned. You can't spend the money that you spent on Cronenworth, Darvish, Bogarts, and then say, sorry, we have a generational talent and player who's 25. So you could sign him to a 10-year deal, and it won't be that bad because he'll only be 35. Whereas you're signing Manny to a 10-year deal at 29. You're signing Bogarts to a 10-year deal at 29.
Mm-hmm. Well,
those contracts are going to look awful at 40.
Unforgivable.
Well, let me say this, Matt. You keep Matt there for 1 second. He's actually 6 years younger because Bogarts is 31, and Soto turned 25 2 days ago. So there's 6 years there. Now, I'll give you one reason why it's completely acceptable to make that trade, even if you don't sign him. And you know what I'm going to say, right?
They're losing.
No, you can make the trade for Soto and not re-sign him when they made the trade for Soto in 2022. You just have to go win the World Series.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like that's what AJ said. He literally said, we have 3 pennant playoff runs. Mm-hmm. And he was saying, let's go win a World Series, which is a fine thing to say.
And then no one cares because you got a World Series.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's been off to this point. Now you have all your eggs in 2024, and nobody believes here locally. Nor do I think pundits believe nationally, sabermetrics, people that work in analytics. I don't think anyone's going to go into the year, Matt, to your point, saying the Padres are a favorite to win the 2024 World Series. But wouldn't you agree that if you brought Soto here and you wanted a high level, you could see him go on the other side?
That's true, but the problem is that if they did do this 3-year window and they miss, and looking at what they have missing next year with, you still got to re-sign Snell or Hader, probably not doing that. You're letting them both walk, and you have nothing coming up out of the minor leagues. You have not developed a single player on this team. They've tried to buy this window of 3 years. They've tried to buy a championship, and it's slowly blowing up in their face.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Matt. And I get what you're saying. If the nothing to show for it route happens, right, then that's a disaster. But if you could show a World Series title, that's something that you could show for it.
Well, that was the point.
And even if you lost Soto after 2024, your argument was, we went out, we traded for Juan Soto for a 3-year window to try to win a World Series. We accomplished that. We got a World Series. We did our job.
Yeah, the day they made the trade, the day they made the trade, we said, it's a moment in time. Enjoy it. He's not going to be here forever. There's a decent chance. So what they're doing is moving those chips. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, they miscalculated. Now, I don't take anything away from taking the shot, right?
Yeah.
I don't take anything away from making the trade. Unfortunately, from AJ's perspective, where it's fair to be critical, is he didn't build properly around Juan Soto. And he certainly didn't get Juan Soto in 2022 that he was probably hoping to get. That second half Soto.
Yeah, he was horrible.
And this full year 2023, nice version of Soto, not yet at his peak
elite
play.
Yeah, elite level.
Now, is he going to get in 2024? I don't know. And is it going to be enough?
If he's even on the team.
Exactly. So things have changed. All right. On the other side, Jon Heyman has weighed in with a potential managerial candidate for the San Diego Padres. All right. Jon Heyman.
Is it me or you or
it's
Brent?
Not. It's not. Okay. JB Long is the voice of the Rams. They have the Cowboys this weekend. He'll join us at 4:30. We've got Team John versus Team Jim in the 4 o'clock hour. Your chance to win a pair of tickets to see the Vets Aid concert at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater November 12th. Tickets at livenation.com. Managerial candidates from Jon Heyman for the Padres next. All right, John Heyman has a potential manager candidate for the Padres that I think some are going to disagree with in terms of the Padres' interest. That's next. JB Long, voice of the Rams. They've got the Cowboys this weekend. He'll join us at 4:30. Also, next hour, your chance to win a pair of tickets to see the Vets Aid concert, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. This is November 12th. Make sure you're there as Joe Walsh presents an all-star lineup with Jeff Lynn's ELO, The War on Drugs, The Flaming Lips, special guest Steven Stills. More info and tickets at Ticketmaster.com. Keep listening for your chance to win. We'll do that in the 4 o'clock hour.
If I asked you to help me to move, what would you say?
I would say no.
Okay.
I would say no.
Okay. Just check.
If I asked you to help me to move,
Zero chance.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a big no for me.
That's a no for me, dog.
It's no for me, bro.
Helping people move is like one of my top 3 most hated things in the world. That's why I'll never ask anyone to help me move
because
so
you know
that I don't get guilted
worst.
into helping them move.
Yeah, but you've already hired your team.
No, I have.
You need more?
No, I'm just asking.
I was gonna say, are you gonna pay us like you're gonna pay those guys?
Right. Or you pay us half.
Get
Get rid of those guys.
First of all, I don't see you lifting.
I'm not lifting
objects.
anything, and it'll hurt my back, so I'm not doing it.
Soft.
Yeah, you're not lifting anything. Are
John
you?
will bring in the sheets and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. The soap.
Yeah. No, I will not be lifting.
Here's
I
your
have
guys'
boxes and
toothbrush.
everything. I have my toothbrush. I have my car is filled to the top with boxes, but other than that, the heavy items.
Did you get internet?
Yes,
you have it.
I got the fastest internet you could ask for.
Okay, good for you too.
I paid an extra premium for it, by the way.
Did you?
I did.
I have the lowest internet,
and somehow it always works.
Still works. Yeah, it works.
But I'm just telling you right now, don't be surprised if it sucks
because your super fast internet outpaces my super slow internet.
For some reason, I just attract bad internet.
Oh, your internet sucks. Yeah, you're going to spend $100 a month on internet, and it's going to suck.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Must be that plate in your head.
Yeah.
Right.
It just goes off the side.
All right. So you're going to be in tomorrow. You're moving tomorrow.
Yeah. I will be completely MIA tomorrow. So if they trade Juan Soto, it'd be the worst timing ever.
Yeah, that's true.
But it won't happen because
that's not going to happen.
World Series games.
They're not trading him tomorrow.
So I'm actually lucky, and there's no Aztecs football. There's no anything tomorrow really of substance other than college football.
Famous last words.
Oh man,
Right.
Preller's like fired.
Exactly. All right. Jon Heyman, New York Post. All right. This goes against everything we've heard. Jon Heyman, New York Post.
Ooh, I can't wait to hear this.
Identifies Marlins manager Skip Schumacher as a potential target for the Padres, saying this. The team loved him during his tenure as a coach in San Diego.
Huh?
The Padres, now remember, didn't they deny Skip Schumacher an opportunity to interview at one point? Or was that Ryan Flaherty of the Mets?
That was Ryan Flaherty.
They never denied Skip Schumacher a chance to interview for a similar position before he took the manager position?
No.
Okay. Well, they love him, per Jon Heyman of the New York Post. Although he goes on to write this, it doesn't seem likely the Marlins will give permission. By the way, he's under contract for 2024 with a club option for 2025. He's reportedly upset, this is Heyman, with the way the team pushed former GM Kim Ng out of her role. That's per Jon Heyman. Padres love him, but he doesn't think the Marlins are going to grant permission to the Padres to interview Skip Schumacher.
Yeah, I don't buy any of that.
Okay, that's
I don't
fake news.
I would love if Skip Schumacher were here. Now that he has experience under his belt, taking the team to the playoffs. He's not a first-time manager. He has the respect of players. He's proven, like, hey, can you win? He can win with not a high payroll, but still he can win.
Right.
He knows people in this clubhouse. Former player, he's played in big-time games, been there, everything. Love it if Skip would come back. But we've talked to Skip. We've heard Skip talk.
Yeah.
It just doesn't sound even remotely possible.
So even with that, let's say he was at the end of a deal, like Craig Counsell.
Okay.
Let's say his deal was up.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just as unlikely that he would come to San Diego because of his relationship with Preller? So it doesn't have to do with the terms of his deal in Miami.
I bet you he'd want to come here as long as Preller wasn't the GM.
He'd want to come here if Kim Ng or whomever else.
Yeah, and that's the problem. It's like you have to get a manager that can fit with your general manager. And that is such a hard puzzle to complete because it hasn't been even close to completion in 9 seasons. 9 years, the puzzle is still not complete as to fit the pieces together between a manager and a general manager to be cohesive.
Listen to this, man. Heyman, they loved Marlins manager Skip Schumacher when he coached there.
Yeah, give me a break.
Was the Philly mutual, to use the Bob Melvin line from today?
Dude, it's just more, I feel like, BS. Skip wanted, it felt like Skip couldn't
have
even
interview him.
Yeah, he couldn't have gotten out of there fast enough because of the dynamics behind the scenes at play, that he went on the Dan Le Batard show publicly and said how toxic it was there. Who's the ringleader of toxicity? That's AJ. Why? It just doesn't make sense. I'd be shocked. The Bob Melvin thing didn't shock me. It was like,
so this would be shocking to you.
If they went out and they interviewed Skip and they made a deal to acquire Skip from the Marlins, I would be absolutely, utterly shocked.
Yeah, so remember when he was here 4 years, he was associate manager. Then remember the Cardinals hired him as bench coach before the Marlins hired him as manager. So he'd already left before he got the Marlins managerial job. My point is this: he had already left without getting a managerial job.
And he, I think had conversations with AJ and was very forthright and very, very forthcoming about, like, hey, this is what I think. And then he's now gone. And we've heard, like, once you burn the bridge with Preller, that bridge is burned forever.
So by voicing his opinion, maybe to Preller, was a reason why, like, that relationship has been fractured.
Possibly.
Because if they differ in
also this
opinion.
notion that Preller goes out and says he loves people that push back. He loves people that have their own opinions.
He did say that.
Well, then why does people having their own opinions and pushing back cause problems?
With the example being
Bob Melvin.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, each relationship is unique, right? Like Bob Melvin and AJ Preller's relationship is unique to that relationship. But AJ Preller's had issues apparently with a number of relationships.
It just sucks because you see some of these names. I would have personally prefer to have Bob Melvin stay here and be the manager. But after hearing everything and knowing everything, not everything, but knowing things, it's like, dude, that would have been a disaster waiting to happen. It was a ticking time bomb. And you look at some of the candidates, and I think some of these candidates are legitimate. Skip, potentially, if he was a candidate, right? Mike Schilt, okay. Brian Flaherty, okay. Benji Gill, I think, some name. Joe Spada, it's good. It's a good candidate to have. Maybe you want to go a wild card to Carlos Beltran. Like, these are some good candidates, I feel like. But it's not even about the candidates anymore. It's about, hey, can that person in particular work well with AJ?
And the names you just mentioned, I mean, are they candidates or are there two candidates? Is it Mike Schilt or Ryan Flaherty? I mean, is it Benji Gill? Is it Skip Schumacher? Is it Joe Espada?
Yeah.
Or is it Mike Schilt or Ryan Flaherty?
Oh, and by the way, can you work with the dynamic in that clubhouse that is extremely difficult to navigate?
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
All right, the wrap is on the other side. JB Long is the voice of the Rams. He'll join us at 4:30. Also in the 4 o'clock hour, your chance to win those tickets to the Vets Aid concert, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, November 12th. Tickets available at livenation.com. Hour 2, Jon and Jim next.
All right, this update is brought to you by DraftKings Fantasy Sports. The biggest game tonight, World Series game number 1 in Arlington, Texas versus the D-backs and the Rangers. 5:07 first pitch there. We have Nathan Eovaldi on the mound for the Rangers versus Zach Gallen for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Check out what DraftKings has to offer this season with code SPORTS because life's more fun when you're in on the action. DraftKings, the crown is all yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Age and eligibility restrictions do apply. Void where prohibited. See DraftKings.com for details today.
San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 2 of Jon and Jim. JB Long is the voice of the LA Rams. He will join us at 4:30. We have Rams Cowboys this weekend right here on San Diego Sports 760. So JB typically joins us. He will in about 25 minutes. We also have your chance this hour to win a pair of tickets to the Vets Aid concert. This is at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, November 12th. Tickets are available at livenation.com. We have game 1 of the World Series tonight, Jim, as you've been talking about in your updates. Is it a slow weekend? I mean, we've got the World Series. We have college football. Like you said, Aztec bye week. We've got the NFL.
Slow. It's not a slow weekend sports-wise.
No,
There's
I
a
don't
lot
think
happening.
so. I think nationally it's not slow. Locally, now that you're in the World Series and they're not hiring a manager this week or weekend, and you have an Aztec bye week and you're a week out from Aztecs basketball, maybe it's a little bit slow here. But no, I mean, it's NFL week 7 or week 8 or whatever it is.
It's wild. As much as we've talked about, Preller and when he speaks, he's going to speak again with the new manager.
Yes, he will continue to speak. It's a good point. Yeah, right. He'll keep speaking.
It's just crazy. He's going to continue to speak.
Yeah, I don't think we've heard from the last of them.
No, he's still the general manager. He will speak.
Yeah. And even after the manager, when he speaks with the new manager, he'll probably speak again.
Well, winter meetings happen.
Yeah, winter meetings, he's going to speak.
But I mean,
next year.
Before the winter meetings, I wouldn't think like we would hear from him again. But it's like, oh no, they have to hire a manager still, and they're gonna
right.
Are they gonna do a press conference? Are they gonna do a Zoom meeting to introduce your manager?
You don't do a Zoom for your manager.
It'd be a little weird, right?
Very weird.
I wonder how much they're gonna hype it up. Like, this is our new manager.
That's a good question.
Or if it's gonna be like, here's our new manager, business as usual.
Like, right. Is it going to be like, what size font? Is there an exclamation point or is it a smaller font?
It probably depends on if they hire someone we've actually heard of.
True.
If they hire some no-name John Doe, how are we going to get excited about that?
Dude, they hired Jace Tingler. It was the biggest thing ever.
Yeah, they had
they thought it was, but nobody else did.
They had a photo shoot. They had him in his quarter zip on the field.
Right. I mean, you're going to do that with every manager.
I know. They did the same thing with Bob.
Well, there's no manager in modern baseball that gets hired that they don't like publicize. Like when the Pirates make a manager move, they're going to have a press conference.
Yeah, of course.
That's like kind of what you're supposed to do. So there's going to be a press conference.
Preller is going to be in the media room with everybody for the first time.
Right. Now, will anyone else be there? Will Eric Grubner be on stage? Will Peter Seidler be there potentially recovering from whatever he's been going through with his health since an August operation, I think?
Yeah. If Peter's there, that would be the ultimate. Okay, nobody cares about what the manager says.
Right. Hey, Peter, we want to ask you about AJ.
Hey, Peter, we need to ask you a million questions
about Bob and about AJ and about the payroll.
Right. I don't care who this guy is.
I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if they put Peter in that spot.
Same thing with Eric.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think you think you'd be surprised if Eric was part of that?
Mm-hmm. I think he'll be there, but he will not be on stage. It will be AJ and the new manager.
Who was on stage with Melvin? AJ and Seidler?
No, it was AJ and Bob.
No Seidler?
He was there.
He wasn't on stage? It was just 2?
I don't remember him being on stage.
I kind of thought he might have been. We were there, but I forget. I do forget.
I feel like he was.
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
We'll have to look that up. Yeah. But yeah, my point is, like, I don't know. If I'm the organization, I'm not opening that can of worms. That's why I'm not putting Seidler there, even if his health is okay. You put him there, and the focus is Peter Seidler and why you kept AJ and what went wrong with Bob and what's the payroll. Where if you just have the new manager with AJ Preller, it's more about the new manager. If you just have Preller and the manager, it's more about that. It's less about what happened with Bob. What's the payroll?
Yeah, that's over with
Right.
now. It's more or less like hey, manager, whoever you are,
Right.
how are you going to work with AJ Preller? Like,
Right.
how do you feel about working with AJ Preller after everything that has come out to light, especially if it's somebody from within the organization? Do you feel like you can be the guy that can, bump the trend of managers not working out with AJ?
What do you think that person's going to say?
Of course I can.
Exactly.
What do you think he's going up there and says?
Right. No, I don't. I
"Actually,
can't. But they're
I
paying
don't-
me 1.25, and it's good money, and I'm not going to say no.
I don't think I could work with him actually, but it's a Major League Baseball manager job, so of course I'm going to take it.
Is anyone this whole like, hey, they're saving $4 million? That's why they're doing it.
Give
Like,
me a break.
aren't they paying their next manager? I mean, even if the next manager makes like 1.8, well, that's a savings now of 2, not 4. I wouldn't think that you're making this move to let him go because of the $4 million.
I'd also be curious to see how many years the new manager gets. It's got to be 3, right?
It's got to be 3.
3 to match up with 26.
I mean, I guess you could do 2 and a club option for the third if it's Ryan Flaherty, who's never managed. Mike Schilt's not taking a 2-year deal to manage, is he?
No, not here.
Not as someone that's already managed.
But hey, I mean, 2 years, that's like kind of the lifespan of managers.
Yeah,
in
that's
this
pretty
town.
long.
So that's like kind of part of the
Better
course.
than 1, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of normal.
All right, JB Long's going to join us coming up at 4:30. Voice of the Rams to get us ready for some NFL football this weekend. Rams and Cowboys. We've got that chance to win those tickets coming up later this hour to the Vets 8 concert at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, November 12th. Tickets at livenation.com. And right now, let's get to this.
Who's going to win game 1 of the World Series tonight?
I'm going to go. I'll take the Rangers. Nathan Eovaldi's been pitching really good in the World Series.
He's been amazing in the postseason, right?
Yeah, there's no layoff talk for either one of these teams. Both of them went to game 7s in their respective series. There was a couple days off, but there was not like a crazy advantage for either one. It's like, oh my gosh, this team had 9 days off. I'll take Texas in game 1. I think it could be a close series. I'm going to go, and then I know this wasn't asked, but I'll go Texas in 6.
I like that. Yeah, I think Texas is minus 160 tonight at home, as they should be, if not a heavier favorite than that, in my opinion. I mean, Arizona's been great
on the road.
On the road, yeah, I was winning the last 2 games in Philadelphia. So who knows? I'm with you. I think Texas in 6 is a good play. I think Texas tonight is a good play, even at minus 160. I'll say the Rangers win game 1. By the way, if it's not the Rangers tonight and Arizona wins game 1, you're like, really?
Oh my
The 84-win Arizona Diamondbacks are going to win the World Series? I know it's only 1 game, but that's what everyone's going to be saying.
And it's in your division. You have a young team.
Their payroll's $100 million.
And if they can win the World Series, and then you have the Dodgers, who are never going away. They never do well in the postseason, but they're always going to be there.
Giants doubling
Giants
down.
are reloading. Rockies or whatever.
Yep.
But man, that division, just on paper, you're looking at it like, damn, you got the World Series champs in that division, and they're not the Dodgers.
No,
or
you're
the
right.
Giants. Or the Padres.
This World Series kind of, Jim won't remember because I don't think he was even alive yet, but John might remember. You remember when the Twins played the Braves that year?
Yeah,
when
went 7, of course.
Well,
yeah.
because the year before they were both the worst teams in their respective
Worst to
leagues,
first,
and
yep.
then they were in the league.
91?
Yeah, I think it was 91 and 92. But this kind of feels the same way because both teams lost 100 games last year, and now here they are, both in the World Series.
Yeah, I think it's Twins 91, by the way.
What a proper rebuild could do for you.
Yeah, exactly. Next question.
Guys, should the Sixers just waive James Harden?
Did you see the story of James Harden going to, I guess,
The airport,
airport, and the Sixers said, no,
Yeah,
you need to
course.
leave.
Yeah.
Tried to board the private
Right.
jet to go to Milwaukee, and they're like,
Yeah,
"Uh-uh."
it's done. It's
You
over.
Yeah. But I was listening to Colin today, and he made a good point with the new policy in the NBA of like wanting the stars to play. And this, he said this was like almost James Harden's master plan of getting the Sixers in trouble. Like he never was intending to play, and he knew this was going to happen. So he did it to get the Sixers in trouble for sending him away.
Dude, if you're the Sixers, though, like he's literally like doing everything in his power
Yeah, cut him.
to work against the Sixers' like wishes and desires and ability to win. He's got to go. I don't know what the options are. They haven't moved him to this point, which isn't encouraging. I wouldn't think if you're the Sixers, But what value does this guy have? He does not show up in the postseason. He's done nothing for the Sixers in the postseason.
Yeah.
It's not like the difference in getting to an NBA Finals or not is James Harden. So under that theory, get rid of him.
He's one of, to me, the most overrated basketball players of his generation.
Yeah, maybe.
Well,
I mean, he's been a compiler.
Great talent. He's an amazing talent. But as far as like guy that's a winner, he is so overrated.
34 years of age now. Like, he's not helping you win.
And just going back to his, last couple of years in Houston, it was bad. It was just, he was nothing but a pain in the ass.
Right.
And then he went to Brooklyn and he was a pain in the ass there. And now he went to Philly and he's a pain in the ass there.
There's a trend.
Yeah, there is.
A little bit.
Next question.
Will Colorado make a bowl game?
Well, they're 4-3, right? They're 4-3 on the year. Their remaining schedule: UCLA, Oregon State, Arizona, Washington State, Utah.
Also known as an impossible remaining schedule.
No.
I mean, they could, but it's going to take some real work.
They beat UCLA.
I mean, they're got to be a significant underdog this weekend, aren't they? On the road at UCLA. Brent, look that number up.
They have to beat Arizona and Washington State. Those are the two games, the must-win games.
UCLA by 15.
15-point dogs this weekend. And then Oregon State at home, you're going to be 10-point dogs. Arizona at home, you could be a dog. Yeah. Arizona's playing well. At Washington State, you are a dog.
Yeah,
and at Utah, you're a 30-point or a 21-point dog.
That Stanford game kind of
messed up their ability to get to a bowl game.
Yeah, I'll say they finished the year. Well, I mean,
you think 6-6? Can they do it?
Yeah, screw it. I'll give Dion.
You got the glasses.
I got the glasses. So we're we coming prime.
You're committed. You have to.
I am. Yeah, bowl game. Here we come.
I'll say 5-7. I think they lose at least 4 of their last 5, if not all 5.
Do you think if they get to 6-6 and they have opportunity for a bowl? I don't know the how it's going to work, but I know the new DirecTV Holiday Bowl. By the way,
so wait, what's your question?
Could they, if they are eligible for a bowl, could the DirecTV Holiday Bowl go after Colorado?
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely a possibility. At 6-6, they would definitively be in a bowl game, but there's the pecking order within leagues of who gets chosen and why. But that's a possibility. Like Holiday Bowl, something like 3rd or 4th. I don't have it in front of me. It's something like 3rd or 4th Pac-12 pick. But remember this: if there's 1 or 2 Pac-12 teams in the playoff, which is possible, one is definitely possible.
Washington.
Then they're actually getting like the next team below 3rd or 4th or 5th, right? Because one plays up, and then there's bowls. So they're in line for, I'm making it up, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th Pac-12 team, which are all probably high-level programs.
Well, we know they're not going to get UCLA.
They're not getting UCLA.
They're not taking UCLA after what Chip and his team did.
But they could end up with a USC. They could end up with USC.
If you had an opportunity between USC and Colorado
if you're the Holiday Bowl, you're taking SC.
Okay.
I would think. I would. Now, is it a better television matchup? Probably not, because it's Dion. But what puts butts in seats? What matters more? If you're trying to sell tickets, I would think SC would sell more tickets than Colorado. Am I wrong on that?
Well, I don't know. I went the one year when
Me too.
USC
SC
played,
Iowa.
No, when USC played Wisconsin.
Oh, I saw. We did SC Iowa on the radio.
They didn't show up because it was cold. And
there were a lot of SC
that was when
fans.
they were still, coming off winning all those titles and everything. So they thought they were too good for the Holiday Bowl. So lots of people didn't show up.
There were a lot when I went to SC Iowa, and SC, I want to say, got smoked. But maybe Colorado.
I think as great as Caleb Williams could be in the NFL and is right now in college football,
is he even going to play in the bowl game?
He would, I
Probably
think.
Not.
But
I don't know, man.
The Holiday Bowl?
I might
Rose Bowl's
choose
one thing, Holiday,
Colorado because I mean they're just
maybe
they're just an eyeball draw.
Yeah, maybe they draw fans because Colorado's never in bowl games. And again, television wise, you're drawing millions.
And Dion in town, he's gonna bring like all of the big time names. You could see Michael Irvin on the sideline. You can see T.O. on the sideline.
Make sure to swing by Blenders that week if Colorado's in town.
Well, I don't have to because I already have them.
No, but like if you want to see Dion,
get more.
Oh yeah.
All right,
it'd be perfect for him. Blenders and perfect.
Exactly. Next question.
And just get a pair for every day of the week. Like
right. Exactly.
All right, guys. Yesterday we talked about who you want to be the Padres manager. Today, who don't you want to be the Padres manager?
Who don't you want to be the next Padres manager?
Who I don't want to be the next Padres manager?
Yeah.
I don't have a specific name. I'll just say somebody we've never heard of. So
you're ruling out anyone you've never heard of.
like, if it's not the names that we've mentioned today, that's who I do not want to be the Padres manager.
What?
If that makes
No,
any sense.
There could be other candidates.
Fine, I'll just say Ryan Flaherty, just because I don't want
You don't want Ryan Flaherty.
No, I don't want the first time guy. I don't want the perceived puppet. I don't want the perceived yes man. I don't want that. I just don't. I don't care if Ryan Flaherty has a bright future. This team and where they're trying to go, I don't know if a first time manager is going to work.
I'll say Gabe Kapler.
Oh yes,
and the reason why is what was told to us by who joined us from the Bay, Andrew Baggerly. It's like they're managing every single game like it's Game 7 of the World Series. They're making 3 changes an inning with pinch hitting, and they're calling upon 3 pitchers every single 7th inning. And I don't need that malaise. I want to see them win. But by the way, that didn't help the Giants win the last 2 years. So the Gabe Kapler experiment, there was that one really good year, Posey's final year, with those zillion wins.
Yeah.
But it hasn't necessarily worked out well for Kapler in his previous 2 stops. So I would say, be careful. Be careful if you're bringing in Gabe Kapler.
Gabe Kapler is the definition of mid. If you look at his record, the only time he had anything above a 500 record or like substantially above a 500 record was a couple of years ago when that team won 107 games.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Every year that he has been a manager in the big leagues, it is all like 82 and 80, 81 and 80,
right,
79 and 82. Like, it is crazy how consistently mid Gabe Kapler has been.
And you're already going to be compared to the Giants because of Melvin. Do you really want that comp? You lost Melvin and got Kapler, and you're now compared for their entire tenures together to each other, where if you're behind the other, you got even more problems.
That would
be
set this place on fire.
Bizarro world. You can't hire the Giants manager that they fired for the manager that you lost to them. That would be like that's the guy you cannot hire.
Do you put it past AJ though?
I don't know. I don't know about his relationship with Gabe Kapler. I don't know how serious of a candidate Kapler.
What I meant, not because of his relationship or lack or whatever.
Right.
Just, would you put it past AJ of making such a move that nobody's talking about right now?
Oh no, I wouldn't put nobody talking about move past AJ Preller.
Yeah, because I wouldn't either.
I mean, what do I know? But like, the more I think about it, the more I'm wondering if he will go unconventional.
Like he zigs when everyone thinks he's
exactly. I was like every writer. He even said this. He even said this publicly. It's like whatever Kevin writes would do the opposite, which is an awful look for AJ to say. He was joking. It was tongue in cheek. Still stupid. So he's already said that. But you know that when he sees reports like before he's even lost his manager, hey, they're leaning towards Shilton Flaherty. You know he wants to consider others because what's being written, he wants to be able to do something
than that.
Exactly. Like he wants to prove them wrong. That can't be your motivation.
What great motivation to have if you're the general manager.
I'm not going to hire Mike Schill because they wrote about it, and I want to hire someone they haven't written about.
We should do everything.
That's why I hired him.
Yeah, we just want to do everything the opposite.
Hey, AJ, why'd you hire?
Because we wanted to do it with the opposite of everyone wanted.
Oh, we have some breaking news.
I don't know what the breaking news is. Tell me.
We have some breaking news. It's
better be good breaking news. Because I get breaking news. I get breaking news, and you call me an idiot. So
well, yeah, because you're like,
he didn't say it was legitimate breaking.
No, and you're like, yeah. What was your legitimate breaking news?
Like Hassan Kim was on the bench or something.
This from MLB Trade Rumors: the Cubs are reportedly among the teams that have interest in dealing for Padres superstar Juan Soto. Okay, this from Bruce Levine of 670 The Score,
dude,
who reports that Chicago will be involved in Soto's market. It's the second report this week to suggest a potential trade partner for the Padres in the Soto deal. The Cubs among teams that have interest in dealing. That's breaking news.
That's not
I said developing.
I
said breaking.
You said breaking news. That's not,
whatever.
That's not breaking news.
Well, your breaking news is always terrible.
I thought the breaking news was like, oh, they just hired a manager.
No, that would be like real breaking news.
Actually, they would never do that with a 35 minutes left until game 1 of the World
You're
Series.
saying it's not breaking
Friday
news that
now.
the Cubs are interested in Juan Soto?
No, that's developing news.
Thank you.
But you said it was breaking news.
Whatever.
So you're an idiot.
We're the Cubs. We're interested in everyone.
I'm not saying Soto to the Cubs. I'm just saying they're interested.
So how does it feel to call me an idiot for my whatever breaking news I have?
I said we have a little bit of breaking news.
But you turn around and you say the exact same thing as like this is groundbreaking.
Yeah, but you can
Breaking
hear the
news. Teams are interested in one of the greatest players in baseball.
You could hear my voice. I wasn't going to say the Chargers are moving back to San Diego.
You go. This is what you did.
Wait, hold on.
You're scrolling your computer. You go, we have some breaking news.
Yeah, that wasn't going to be. Do you imagine me following that up with, hey, the Clippers are moving to San Diego, or the Chargers are Dean Spanos sold the franchise?
This is what I would.
Manny's been traded.
This is what I would expected of you to do. All right. Coming up next, Another team has entered the sweepstakes potentially to trade for Juan Soto. We'll tell you who that team is coming up next.
Except you don't know the rundown, which is JB Long, voice of the Rams, will join us next. Stay with us on Jon and Jim.
I'm an idiot.
Hey guys, it's Schaefer. We've been telling you all about our friends at Windmill Farms. It's an amazing place. I've run into their owner, Trevor, over there a couple of times, including his mom. We've told you it's family owned, family run. They've been in the grocery business literally for decades. It's your spot during your work week. If you're looking to pick up lunch, I've been telling you about their sandwich card. You get your 8th sandwich for free over there. And they've got amazing ingredients. They have a wide selection and they keep their prices incredibly low. If you're picking up sandwiches during your work week, you know the price of some of these. And Windmill Farms keeps their prices incredibly low. And again, your 8th sandwich is free with the sandwich card. Whether you're planning your tailgating for a weekend or your work week, they've got what you need with their amazing selection of beer, their organic farm fresh produce and meats, the deli that I've been telling you about, their weekly specials, by the way, that you can check out at windmillfarmsmarket.com. Also, you don't have to live or work near Del Cerro, right? They're centrally located right by Montezuma Mesa. If you don't live or work near Del Cerro, it's not a problem. You can find Windmill Farms on Instacart, have your groceries delivered directly to your doorstep. They support local businesses, so you should shop local, whatever it is locally. They've got Harris Ranch, Mr. G's Salsa. Again, check them out at windmillfarmsmarket.com. Get ready for your weekend over there. Kick off your work week there. Shop local. Shop at Windmill Farms.
All right, this update's brought to you by DraftKings Fantasy Sports. World Series game number 1. First pitch about a half hour away in Arlington, Texas, between the Rangers and the D-backs. Zach Gallen on the mound for the D-backs versus Nathan Eovaldi for the Texas Rangers. Check out what DraftKings has to offer this season with Code Sports, because life's more fun when you're in on the action. DraftKings, the crown is all yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Age and eligibility restrictions do apply. Void where prohibited. See DraftKings.com for details today.
All right. So first and foremost, we have Rams Cowboys Sunday at 10 a.m. But that is not the lead in our conversation with JB Long. So I take one Friday off. Where was I? I have no idea.
You're like at the hospital?
Oh, yeah. I thought I was having a heart attack.
No, that was Monday.
No, it was Friday.
Oh, was?
I thought I was JB. Now he's going to feel really bad. So I don't think I said that when I said I wasn't going to be.
Wait, were you? Really?
I thought I was having a heart attack on Friday, JB. I kid you not. I went to urgent care. I'm alive. I didn't have a heart attack. Then I'm listening to Jon and Jim without me, and I'm hearing JB Long say he'd rather be with Jim than Jon. And then I nearly had a heart attack. So JB, welcome back to the show. How are you?
That is quite a welcome. I'm not sure those two things add up. Maybe listening to us gave you a heart attack, or if you were having a heart attack, you certainly didn't have your radio tuned in. But I'm calling baloney on this one.
No, I
am
was literally in urgent care.
He was like, oh no, I don't feel good.
But I was
then
fine.
He freaked out. And
well, it's like one of these things, JB. You have kids. How many kids? You have 2 or 3 kids, right?
I have 2 boys. Yeah.
You have 2 boys. So I have a 4-year-old, and here's my theory. Even before I had my son, I did this though. I'm like, what if I just keel over and drop dead? And I'm going to feel bad for my wife as well. But like, I have a 4-year-old. It's like you want to be safe. Then sorry, right? Like if you've got chest pain, what are you supposed to do? Just like be a man. This isn't the NFL.
Called heartburn.
Maybe.
No, it sounds like you did the right thing. I don't want to speak for your wife, but mine would have told me to rub some dirt on it and walk it off.
That's what she told me.
Yeah, his wife said the same thing.
My wife said the same thing. All right, let's get to Steelers Rams, which may have caused some heart attacks for Rams fans. This is a game at home. You know that coming up, you got Cowboys and Packers on the road before the bye. How do you look back at this game? Is this a missed opportunity or disappointing, or how are the Rams looking at this past week?
Yeah, all of the above is the answer there. I'm still not over it, 5 days later.
Right.
And it has the looming feeling of one that's going to cost the Rams something, maybe a playoff spot, maybe a seed. We shall see, but it puts a lot of pressure on this road trip to Dallas to now go claw back one that you're quote unquote not supposed to win, right?
Yeah.
Because you definitely were supposed to win that game against Pittsburgh, especially when you were on the verge of taking a 2-score lead in the second half. And unfortunately, they got right into the Pittsburgh blueprint in terms of some self-inflicted injuries, some costly mistakes, be it a interception or a couple of missed field goals. So now they're kind of behind, whether it's a game in the standings or a game off their pace, whatever it is, there's still plenty of opportunity out there. And the NFC playoff bubble is very much undefined. But here's how I frame this trip to Dallas. This is the opportunity you're striving for in January, right? If you're going to be a wild card team, you're likely going to a Dallas or a Philadelphia or a Seattle, San Francisco, right? So like, if this is what you're playing for, then show us right now at the end of October that you're ready, that you're qualified for that opportunity by putting it on the Cowboys.
What, I guess, was the vision and the prediction of the Rams season going into this year? Was it, we expect to be a playoff team, we're kind of in a little bit of a rebuild, but we hope that we can be good to be a playoff team? What was the, I guess, expectation coming into the season for all Rams fans with this Rams team?
Well, I think the easiest, most direct answer is as long as Sean McVay is your head coach, you expect to win every single Sunday. And I think given that the roster included Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Aaron Donald, as long as those 3 are dressed, you have the right to believe that you can contend with every team in the National Football League. And let's face it, through 7 games, that's been true. They've had a path to victory and or won each of their 7 contests so far. We'll see if that holds again in Week 8 against Dallas. But yeah, within the organization, the word playoff was used. Now, are they so unrealistic as to say that they have a Super Bowl contending roster coming out of training camp? I never heard that.
Mm-hmm.
But I know they were very much looking forward to shooting their shot and seeing what happens and knowing that, maybe outside of Philadelphia and San Francisco, there weren't many bona fide blue bloods in the NFC. So why didn't they have the right to believe that they could go beat a Seattle in Seattle to open the season, for instance?
JB Long is the voice of the Rams. You can hear Rams Cowboys Sunday, 10 a.m. right here on San Diego Sports 760. So it's always surprising when we see Cooper Kupp with a 2-catch game, which is what he had against the Steelers. Would you expect Kupp to bounce back here this weekend?
Yes, but first let me say, it's kind of his own doing because he dropped the first 2 that were thrown to him. As many drops as catches. He did have a 2-point conversion, which doesn't show up in those stats. He still impacted that game. But I do think this is more, personally, a Cooper Kupp game than a Puka Nacua game, which isn't to say they can't both eat. But based on what I see from Dallas's defense, knowing that they play a high rate of man coverage, I would expect Matthew Stafford to be looking for number 10 in Royal and Soul early and often on Sunday.
How much of a loss was Kyron Williams being put on IR for this team?
Yeah, it was deflating in the sense that I thought he was really about to step into his own. The way he was running against the Cardinals was, one, capitalizing on great removal up front from an offensive line that I think is achieving at a high level. But 2, he had really fallen into the groove of setting up linebackers, breaking through second levels, finishing with authority on his runs at or near the goal line. So that stings. But when I look back at week 7 against Pittsburgh, they didn't lose that game because of a lack of running efficiency. They got, I think, everything they needed to win that game from Darrell Henderson and Royce Freeman. And I'm not here to devalue the running back position any further than it already has been by the National Football League. But I do think it's telling of how good Sean McVay's offense is and how well the offensive line is playing, that collectively they were able to put another productive day on the ground against the Pittsburgh Steelers.
JB Long with us again. Rams Cowboys Sunday at 10 a.m. right here on San Diego Sports 760. What are the Rams and McVay saying about Dak Prescott, his performance so far this year, and what they're seeing from that Cowboys offense right now?
Well, Sean himself's a little bit bleary-eyed. They delivered their first child on Tuesday, so congratulations to Sean and Veronica McVay and their new addition, Jordan. I think he's behind on sleep, as many of us can relate. But in terms of Dak Prescott and this offense, look, the last 2 weeks have kind of been a summation of the Cowboys' Dak Prescott experience, where they were embarrassed against the San Francisco 49ers, and they did not look like a team that could reach the Super Bowl. Then they come back and beat the Chargers in prime time, and Dak was doing it through the air and also with some design runs. And so the thing that confuses me about Prescott and this offense is I see weapons everywhere. How does CeeDee Lamb have 34 catches but only 1 touchdown? That must be baffling to fantasy football owners and endlessly infuriating. But it's kind of what Mike McCarthy wanted when he made the change and when he took over the play calling duties. This Texas Coast offense, whatever that means, they want to lean on their running game and their defense, and they don't want Dak Prescott to have the game on his shoulders. That's why you see his yards per attempt and average depth of target way down at levels we haven't seen since his early days in the National Football League.
JB, the Rams have been known in the past for being big players, the trade deadline, making huge splashes. And I feel like that's kind of trickled down in the NFL, where last year the big trade of Christian McCaffrey to the 49ers. How do you view the trade deadline now? Is it do you feel that it's more impactful now than it was in the past, maybe because of how the Rams have been a part of the trade deadline in their history?
Yeah, I think that's well summarized. It's not maybe as dynamic still as the NBA or Major League Baseball trade deadline, but definitely more so than it was 5 to 10 years ago. And I think the Rams have unfortunately become their own worst enemy by, capitalizing on that market inefficiency. And now you see other teams doing it both in the offseason and at the deadline, and that's just driven prices up. So it wouldn't surprise me if they sit this round out because they just don't see any deals to be made out there, or if others are more aggressive, like for instance the Niners were with Christian McCaffrey last season. However, if they were to go win this game against the Dallas Cowboys, I think they can read the room and say, hey, who's really better than us in the NFC? If we're 4-4 flying home from Dallas and there's something to be added to this roster, while Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp and Aaron Donald are here in their prime, why waste half a season if that door is open?
It'd be interesting.
It will be interesting. JB, we're looking forward to this weekend. Big game. It is Rams Cowboys Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific right here on San Diego Sports 760, the start of back-to-back road games for the Rams, who now find themselves one game under 500. JB, we appreciate it. We'll do it again next week, and thanks for your time.
Thanks, JB.
I repent for my cheekiness. I wish you nothing but health this weekend and no trips to the urgent care. And that goes for all of your listeners as well. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thanks, JB. I was just kidding. I just wanted to make you feel bad. You know that I tell this story every single time, Sean. My one Sean McVay, Kristen story, how Kristen used to babysit Sean McVay. You know,
I thought you were going to say that Chris used to date Sean McVay. I'm like,
no,
what is wrong with?
babysit him.
Oh.
That's how young Sean McVay is, or maybe how old I am.
I was about to give so much crap to Kristen. If she like dated Sean McVay, she could have been with an NFL successful man,
or me,
makes millions and millions of dollars, or you who sits with me 5 days a week.
No, the math is like she's something like maybe 6, 7, 8 years older than him.
That doesn't matter.
And so he was like, I don't know, he was like 5 and she was like 12, and she was babysitting him because his dad was coaching for the Steelers, and she grew up in Pittsburgh, and they lived in the same community. It's bizarre, but
Chris never sat there like, darn it, I could have been a part of a multi-million-dollar family, successful NFL.
No, she wasn't trying to marry him. She was babysitting it. She was babysitting a 4-year-old.
I meant just like you can still be part of like the family and babysit, and then someone gets older. It's like, oh,
hey,
what's up?
Remember when I used to babysit you?
I used to babysit you. Oh yeah. Goo goo gaga.
You're such an idiot. 844-570-1360 is Jim an idiot. No, call right now.
That's well known.
Call right now if you want 2 free tickets to this Vets Aid concert at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater November 12th.
Kristen, this is just a bit.
844, she's probably listening.
She's like, what?
844-570-1360. If you want 2 free tickets to the Vets Aid concert November 12th, we're going to play some sports trivia. It's Trainwreck Radio. You need to call right now if you want 2 free tickets to a concert that's got Jeff Lindsay, LO, The War on Drugs, The Flaming Lips, Stephen Stills, and more. 844-570-1360. Call right now. Trainwreck Radio. That's next. All right, call right now if you want 2 free tickets to the Vets Aid concert, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater, 844-570-1360. You need to call right now. This features Jeff Lynn's ELO, The War on Drugs, Flaming Lips, and more. Great prize. You need to call right now. Our first 2 callers will be our contestants for some sports trivia. Call right now, 844-570-1360. That's 844-570-1360. Call now. The World Series, you know that thing at the end of the year, is about to get underway. Rangers and Diamondbacks. What did the commissioner call it like 2 years ago? Like, it was just a piece of metal.
Piece of metal.
It's a piece of tin.
Well, you got the Arizona Diamondbacks and Texas Rangers being introduced right now. All-star introductions for Game 1 of the World Series in Arlington.
What do you? Because I know you're a big Jersey guy.
Yeah,
How do you like the Jersey matchup for this World Series?
it's fine.
Okay.
What do you think of it?
I think it's fine.
I mean, Rangers and Diamondbacks. I'm not enamored by the Diamondbacks look, their modern look.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. It doesn't like clash. It doesn't look weird. It looks normal.
Remember they caught flack. I think they changed their pants. Remember their pants were like gradient up the bottom, and it looked like blood was coming out of their legs.
Yeah, they changed their
They got rid of
jerseys
that, right?
to be more basic and more like simple and to the point
Yeah.
instead of so much weird
Gradient.
neon colors and stuff. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's just like simple to the point. Font's fine. The red, I know their City Connects, the serpents or whatever. Like the.
Will we get City Connects in postseason, or does that not happen?
I don't think baseball
They're not cool with that.
likes that. I think they like.
Here's what I'm
the
talking
normal
about, dude.
jerseys.
Yes, remember these?
Yeah, they're horrible.
I mean, that's flat out. The pants on these
yeah.
Diamondbacks uniforms a couple years ago when they were winning like 50 games a year. It's a good thing they changed, because if they were wearing these things in the World Series, it'd be a problem.
Yeah, no, just have
I
normal.
just wonder if they're going to wear their throwbacks from the last time they were in the World Series.
That would be
Ooh.
awesome.
Yeah, that would be
Wear
interesting.
the big unit jerseys.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Major League Baseball permits you to wear your.
I don't know.
Yeah, but
last
they're
year-
alternates. They won't let. I think they have a rule against the City Connects, but you can wear your alternate. I think.
I know the Padres played. Did they play on a Friday here? Yeah, they did. They played on a Friday night
They didn't wear City Connect, did
against
they?
the Dodgers, Game 3, and they did not wear City
Right,
Connect.
right.
And they always wear City Connect on Fridays. So
Right.
I think baseball is like, can we just stick to the traditional uniforms, please? Here,
What's the number one overarching storyline of the series? Is Bochy going for his fourth? The Rangers going for their first ever? What's the?
I think number one's Boch going for his fourth
over the Rangers' first in franchise history.
I think number two is, can an 84 win team win the World Series?
Yeah, maybe maybe.
And then you just couple in the Rangers going for their first World Series title. I don't really know if there's much compellingness on the field. Like this player has beef with this player or this player and this player. I mean, you got some really good players in here, like Corey Seager, Nathan Eovaldi's been pitching great.
Is anyone from Tommy Pham's fantasy league on Texas?
He's gonna punch him out.
I don't know.
We are in the heart of fantasy football season, so Tommy Pham.
He's updating that lineup.
Oh, he's definitely doing that during the World Series.
Yeah,
that is a definite 100% fact that during the World Series, Tommy Pham will be updating his fantasy football lineups.
Do you care at all? Like, are you going to be like, oh, game one, lowest rated game one since 2012?
No, I don't care.
And by the way, it may not be. Maybe it's the highest rated World Series game one since 2012. I have no idea.
I always like the pomp and circumstance of the World Series, the bunting, the theatrics of it, making it big. The
it's like an all-star game,
and it's an all-star game, but actually matters.
Yeah, exactly.
And people actually try really hard.
My guess, and I don't know because I'd have to look at like the COVID year. And again, people will make a lot of this, but my guess is you'll hit some lows for this game. Like they're gonna say, "Hey, this is the lowest game one since." That's my guess is what you're gonna get out of this. Now, I hope I'm wrong. I'm compelled by it. I think it's a good series.
You know why it has a chance not to be that?
Because of the size of the markets.
Because it's on a Friday night with nothing else happening.
Yeah, but it's also on a Friday night, which isn't traditionally the best TV night. It's not Monday, Thursday, Sunday.
Right.
That's the NFL.
If it was like on a Tuesday night, you would get some pretty high ratings.
No, I think it can do well. It's a large enough market. It should be a good series.
What is the schedule here?
Because it's Friday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday.
Probably
is what I think it is. But you're not playing Sunday.
Friday, Saturday. You got nothing on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
Friday, Saturday,
and then Thursday's off. And then Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, they don't want to play a World Series game on a Sunday. And
no.
I want to say they traditionally have, but I don't know if it's this year or in recent years, they have not been playing World Series games.
I think the only game that you might get some bad ratings is Game 3.
With it being Monday Night Football?
Yeah.
Who's playing Monday night?
Raiders.
Oh, Raiders. Yeah.
Raiders.
We'll have it for you.
Raiders and their
opponent.
I know. I'm waiting to see if you can figure it out.
Raiders and the team they're playing are playing on
Lions?
Monday.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I got it.
In Detroit. 4:45, by the way, right here on San Diego Sports 760 on Monday. So short show for Jon and Jim.
Yeah. Or short show for Jim and Brent.
Correct. I won't be here.
Soft.
Correct.
Now the Rangers have former President Bush,
right?
Former owner of the Rangers.
Who's the biggest Diamondback?
Yeah, who are the Diamondbacks going to bring in to top a former president?
Not going to be Kurt Schilling.
No,
but no.
But it is kind of like the parallels. When's the last time that George Bush threw out a first pitch at a World Series? And who was in that World Series?
Arizona. I'm assuming the last time he did it was 0-1. I mean, they were in the World Series. The Rangers have been there since.
The best first pitch ever thrown at a World Series. Potentially.
Just because of the
circumstances and how
he was wearing like the bomber jacket.
Yeah, but it was like
and he threw a strike.
Yeah,
he threw a perfect strike from the top of the mound.
Now, did he not throw out a first pitch for the Rangers? The Rangers have been in the World Series since, right? Multiple times.
Maybe he did.
I'm assuming.
Is that Pudge?
Yeah, he's throwing a Pudge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, again, that's a good point, Brent. Like,
he's really earning that nickname these days, too.
Oh, yeah.
But Game 3, it's a good point. Like, who are they going to get? I'm Randy Johnson, obviously.
You go Randy Johnson. You don't go Kurt Schilling.
No, I don't think Kurt Schilling's going to be a guest of honor.
Kurt Schilling.
Counsel, maybe, just because he had the game-winning hit.
I know who it is.
Counsel's a good call.
Easiest call ever. Luis Gonzalez.
Over.
Oh, no, he skipped it.
That's the easiest call over Randy Johnson.
Miss it? Pudge missed the first pitch.
Okay, coming up next, on the other side, back to the Padres and this managerial search. Also, the developing news in terms of a potential trade partner for the Padres on the Juan Soto front. It's hour 3 of Jon and Jim, and it's next.
All right, this update is brought to you by DraftKings Fantasy Sports. We're moments away from first pitch, game 1 of the World Series between the Rangers and the D-backs. Nathan Eovaldi on the mound for the Rangers versus Zach Gallen for the D-backs. Check out what DraftKings has to offer this season with code SPORTS, because life's more fun when you're in on the action. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Age and eligibility restrictions do apply. Void where prohibited. See DraftKings.com for details today.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is the final hour of Jon and Jim on a Friday afternoon. Again, this weekend, Rams football, Sunday at 10 a.m. Monday, we've got Monday Night Football at 4:45, Raiders against whomever they're playing.
Lions.
The Lions in Detroit. So we've got some football for you coming up this weekend. Also on Monday night as well. We started the show talking about this back and forth between Preller and Melvin, and then we thought to each other like a few minutes into it, like, does it even matter anymore?
Yeah,
Melvin's gone and Preller's here.
Yeah, not really. They both won in their own right.
Right.
And it's who's in a better situation? I would argue Bob, because he's out from underneath AJ. AJ is going to think that he won, and it's going to be a better environment, but AJ does the same things over and over again, no matter who's in charge, who's in the manager spot. So both of them think they won, which is fine. There is a battle of he said, she said, I'm sure. And I don't think Bob's going to be getting any Christmas cards from AJ anytime soon.
That's an interesting way to put it. Bob Melvin, quoted by Kevin today, saying, I was fully committed to coming back, but based on further conversations after the season, I'm not sure the feeling was mutual.
Okay.
Again, they're not going to see eye to eye. Just like they didn't within the organization. I'm sure they really won't now that they're outside of the organization. What's interesting is, like, the story continues, because now you got Melvin in San Francisco in your division. You're meeting 13 times, I think, in 2024. Your opener in San Diego is against Bob Melvin's Giants. Awkward, weird, and both franchises are going to need to move on, right? I mean, the Melvin Preller thing, that story is going to run dry. What the Padres are going to do with their manager search remains compelling. What the Padres are going to do with Juan Soto remains really compelling.
Yeah.
I said earlier it was breaking news. You guys didn't say it was. Developing news, MLB trade rumors saying that the Cubs will reportedly have interest in Juan Soto if a market does develop. To go along with the Yankees.
Yes, and you are going to start seeing this now until whenever he potentially gets traded. Like, it's not going to be silent on the Juan Soto trade rumor front.
Mm-hmm.
You are going to see this team pop up, this team pop up. It's going to be, where there's smoke, there's fire. This thing is going to be a wildfire of rumors for the Padres and Juan Soto. And the louder that these rumors get, the more likely this is going to happen, because we know the MO with AJ is where there's smoke, there's always fire. And if the smoke and the fire that I'm sure is already starting turns out to be that the Padres are actively looking to move Juan Soto, then I feel like that is all you need to know in the coming months to them trading away Juan Soto, which I will absolutely hate. And once again, rightfully so, rip AJ Preller for it.
All right. I don't even know if we've thrown this out. Like, is there anyone out there? Do you want Soto to stay or go? Like, are there people that want Soto to be traded because the return you can get potentially, and because you can lower your payroll and you're setting yourself up for long term, and he's not going to be here anyway? Mm-hmm. So you get a return for Juan Soto because he's not going to be here beyond 2024 regardless, is the general thought. Like, does anyone want to see him go this offseason because of the return? 844-570-1360. I mean, I could make the argument for it, but I could much easier make the argument for him to stay, because I don't think with this type of payroll, even if it comes down, that you can put yourself in the same position to win without him. And that's the argument why I would keep him. And I think it's very deflating to get rid of him, to sell to your fan base that had 3.2 million fans come through Petco Park, that he's no longer here. So, like, from both a winning perspective and a marketing perspective, I think it's a tough sell, but maybe they disagree. And maybe you'll put the franchise in a better spot by moving him and set yourself up for 2024 and beyond.
Yeah, I just can't get on board even remotely close to the narrative of Juan Soto is like not a good baseball player and all he does is walk. And I disagree with Scott Miller. I just do. I disagree with anybody who thinks that Juan Soto, they need to trade him, that he's a clubhouse cancer or whatever the case may be, whatever stupid thing you want to label to Juan Soto.
Overrated.
All he does is walk.
Yeah. Not a good defender. Can't run.
He jogs to first, doesn't hustle. All this crap towards Juan Soto. It's kind of a little bit the same towards Manny Machado. I personally think Manny Machado is a great baseball player, but there are issues that I have with Manny that I feel like kind of are validated with going to the clubhouse and everything in there. And the second he talks about clubhouse culture doesn't matter, that's a major red flag for me. I think he's a fantastic baseball player. I don't think he's as clutch as some people might view him. I think there's been opportunities and moments where he has a chance to come through and he has not. But dude, I want Manny Machado on your team. You want a Manny Machado on your team. But I don't know if you want Manny Machado on your team if he's like the leader and the captain of it. That's my point on Manny. But the Soto thing, I think Soto is one of the best players in the game. I think Soto at 25 years old is still in the early prime of his career. Maybe we haven't seen the best of Juan Soto yet. Think about that. And you are going to go in this offseason and potentially not have a season where you could see the best of Juan Soto because you need to trade him because your payroll is too high because you effed that up by signing all these dudes.
Maybe that's the reason. Maybe he would walk. Maybe he's not worth $500 million. There's a difference between being a great player and getting the largest deal in the history of baseball for a position player. And by the way, you got to like Juan Soto for who he is. Like who he is the player that at times over the last 2 years we've seen. He does walk a lot. He's led baseball in walks since entering Major League Baseball, right? He's never been a 40 home run hitter. That's not who he is. And by the way, he's not going to develop into that in San Diego. If anything, that's not going to add to his power. And he's never going to be a Gold Glove Award winner, and he's never going to steal 25 bases. So you have to appreciate who Juan Soto is, which, by the way, if you look back at this year, he hit with men in scoring position. It's a little weird because it didn't feel like he hit in the clutch or in clutch spots.
Yeah.
He gets on base at a ridiculous clip, and his on base plus slugging was very similar to his career average. He's the only Padre that posted a season offensively that was elite. Now, you could argue how he got there. Say, well, it was more doubles than home runs, or, well, he didn't come up in clutch spots. But nobody had a comparable offensive season to Juan Soto. So when you move on from him, you've lost your best offensive player. So that's what you've done. Are you prepared to do that? Move on from your best offensive player? 844-570-1360. Let's go to the phones. Roy, you're on with Jon and Jim. Thanks for calling in, Roy.
How you doing, first of all?
Great. How are you,
How
man?
are you?
Okay, good. I'm going to say, first of all, have a good weekend. After we get hang up, hope you have a good time, whatever you do this weekend.
You too, Roy.
You too, Roy.
Thanks, Jen. You know what? I've talked to you guys a number of times, and I appreciate it. I think this organization has just painted themselves into a corner. This was supposed to be the year that they were really supposed to go for it. They loused it all up. I'm sick that they let Bob Melvin go. I will never understand it. You don't give away your manager to the enemy.
Yeah.
With respect to Soto, I mean, it's a quandary. I don't know what you do. I mean, do you go 1 year with him, but what's your pitching going to look like? Okay, do we score 1 million runs like we did this year, but then you keep losing ball games? Guys, I'm in a quandary as to what to do. I would love to see them keep him long term, but all this talk about cutting costs and everything else, knowing them, probably will trade into the Royals, give the whole money. They'll trade in for the Royals, get 2 broken bats and a box of hot dog wrappers for him, and pay the whole price. I wouldn't be surprised. Whatever they're doing anymore, they've lost total confidence with all of us as a fan base here in what they're doing. And it this is very frustrating. We're sitting here, all these good players we've got, and we just got a team that's just, it's just spinning out of control, man. It's very frustrating. I hope they can fix it.
Thanks, Roy, for calling in,
Roy.
man, and listening.
Yeah, I think Roy has the same sentiment as a lot of fans out there, that it would have been easier to stomach Bob Melvin going anywhere, but I feel like the Giants.
Yeah, probably.
Just because of the history in this town, over a decade plus ago, with Bruce Bochy going to the Giants, and all of a sudden you see Boch win 3 World Series with them, and the Padres are stuck in beyond mediocrity for a decade plus. And now it potentially, I don't know if it's going to happen again.
Well, that's not. I'll make it. That's not going to happen.
But
again.
you still I agree. But you still have the manager who led you to an NLCS for the first time since 1998, had 2 winning seasons, even though this year didn't feel like one, right? And then he goes to the Giants. You better beat Bob Melvin. Like, if you are AJ Preller, you cannot afford to have the Giants, 1, finish ahead of you in the standings, and 2, see the Giants win before you do.
It won't be a good look. I don't know if it'll cost him his job or not, to be honest.
Well, apparently nothing costs him.
I wouldn't be shocked if I'll give you an example. If the Padres and Giants made the postseason and the Giants had a better year.
Oh, yeah, that's
of
fine.
no consequence, AJ.
No consequence.
Yeah.
I agree. But
now, if the Giants win a World Series, it's not going to be a great look.
If the Giants win the division and the Padres sneak into the postseason and then the Giants go farther than the Padres, then that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a bad look.
Yeah, but they'd be in the postseason and he'd be back.
Still, I know.
2025.
I get it.
844-570-1360. What should they do with Soto? I mean, keep him, trade him, cut him? I'm kidding. 844-570-1360. Wave him like James Harden.
Yeah.
Ryan, you're on with Jon and Jim. Thanks for calling in.
Hey, thanks, guys. Trading Soto is absolutely mandatory. They're shedding payroll. They already know that's happening. They fiscally can't afford them. And if they could, they would have a bunch of Cronenworths and Juan Soto. They have to trade him to plug all these holes that they have in their lineup. This year, this lineup was proven to have a lot of holes when it comes to certain positions and pitching. And he solves that. He can solve that by trading him to get things. They can't sign him. It would be like the Texas Rangers signing Alex Rodriguez back in the day. So they had this multi-generational talent, and they had a bunch of nobodies because they can't afford anybody else. So they have to. There's no other way.
Well, I would have to disagree with you, Ryan. I don't think the Padres, thanks for the call, I don't think the Padres have a bunch of nobodies after Juan Soto.
No, they don't.
They don't. They have some extremely high-level talent, all-stars, Hall of Fame quality players on their team. They're not even close to what that Rangers team was.
But the point is, can you complete the roster?
Spent all the money.
Yeah, can you complete the roster by spending even more on Juan Soto?
I don't know. I don't know if you can. And that's the job of the organization, is to make sure you build a cohesive roster and build a roster with good depth, right? And if that means they have to trade Juan Soto to do that, that's on them, man. That's their fault.
Oh, come on, name another team that's deeper at shortstop than us.
True.
Nobody.
I mean, I just figured it out. I have the answer.
Oh, okay.
I just figured it out.
Hold on.
This I can guarantee.
Everybody right now, I want you to just stop what you're doing unless you're driving.
I figured it out.
Drive. John has the solution to all the Padres
Well,
problems.
I know this. I'll guarantee this. At most, they got one more year with him, because there's no organization in the history of any professional sport with 4 players making $280 million or more, and none of them pitch. So it's not happening. So unless you're moving heaven and earth to move non-tradable Xander Bogaerts with a no-trade clause, Manny Machado, no trade clause, Fernando Tatis Jr., no trade clause, unless one of those 3 is moving, he's not staying. Because there's no organization in its right mind, and you could argue if they are or not, that's going to have 4 players making $300 million or more for the lifetime of their deal. None.
What do you got?
That's the thing. He's gone.
Okay, so that's how they fix things?
I never fix, man. That's not my job.
I had a solution.
No, I don't have a solution.
That's what I was expecting. I thought you had a solution.
The solution is I would just roll my dice for 2024 with them, just like they rolled the dice with Snell and Hader in 2023.
Well, yeah, that's what we were talking about.
What?
Like, you want Juan Soto on this team because
but
idea was
others
3
don't.
years.
Like our caller just a moment ago said, you got to move him. That's what I'm reacting to.
I think the caller is also looking at you. Not that they want, and maybe I could be wrong. Not that he wants them to move Juan Soto because he thinks he's a bad player, but he wants to move Juan Soto because Juan Soto could potentially get you some depth in the organization that you don't have, and the relief of the money that you need to build a better roster.
Nobody wants to move Juan Soto because he's a bad player.
I think some do.
Is Soto of value at his cost?
I think some people want to move Soto because they don't feel like he impacts a team like they would hope that he.
Well, maybe not at $30 million a year.
Well, that's something I just thought of when you just said that, John. If he's such a bad player, why does everyone think that we're going to get this huge haul for him?
Right, exactly.
All these people are like, "Oh, Soto sucks."
Well, they're going to
don't take anything less than the top 5 prospects from the other.
They
team
would
you're
get a
trading
haul
him to.
for him, but you still have to ask yourself: is the
I know.
haul
I'm just saying the
worth?
people that are saying, "Oh, he sucks," is like,
Right,
well,
yeah.
if he sucks, then why are you expecting to get
That's my favorite
8
thing
top
with trades.
prospects?
That's my favorite things with trades because it's so stupid. It's like, hey, just take Campusano and take Cronenworth and Trent Grisham, and we'll take
we'll
this
trade
player
you.
per hand.
We'll give you Carpenter for Ohtani straight up.
Yeah, we could trade you 5 players for 1. That will be good, right?
It might have worked out well for the Nationals.
When the 5 players that Padres fans would want to trade away are like problems.
No, I mean, here's the thing: do you trust AJ Preller to get that trade right?
No.
Most people say no. So, I mean, they're kind of. You could argue they're a bit damned because you keep them and you don't win a World Series. Like, why'd you keep them? And then you trade them. You say, why'd you trade them?
Mm-hmm.
Right? But I still go back in 2022. I'm making that trade. Just hasn't worked out, and that's absolutely on Preller too. But I mean, everyone was on cloud 9 the day they traded for Juan Soto. Everyone was on cloud 9 the day they extended Manny Machado. Everyone.
I don't have any revisionist history or revisionist mindset for the Juan Soto trade. Me personally, I don't. I would have done that trade every day of the week because I want Juan Soto. I want Juan Soto on my team. I want to build a team around Juan Soto. Unfortunately, it doesn't feel like the Padres decided to go that route to build a team around Juan Soto. They decided to build a team around Manny Machado and Xander Bogaerts instead, and Fernando Tatis Jr. because he ain't getting paid like a small chunk of change,
right?
So they made their bed. They chose their 3 superstars.
It seems like it,
and they decided that Juan Soto was going to be a passenger on this ride, and that the next stop he's going to get off.
It seems like that. From the way we see it now, it's hard to argue against that. Like, oh no, actually, they're going to give him $450 million, but the payroll's coming down, so that doesn't make any sense.
And that's where you get upset about the moves that they decided to do instead of the move that I think would have been served best for the long term. Is, hey, maybe I don't know, build around Tatis and Soto, the 2 young superstars.
Although
on
to
your
your point, there's a lot of people that don't think they should build around Soto.
I know, and
if they signed Soto to a $450 million deal, there'd be a lot of people that say that's a mistake
because they have already put so much money in other places. That's like draining the team.
I could already see it. It's going to be like year 2, and he's hitting like 254 on May 1st. Like, you give him $45 million a year, he's hitting 254. 844-570-1360. Let's go back to the phones and Nick. Nick, you're on with Jon and Jim. Thanks for calling in.
Hey guys, thank you for letting me talk. So I'm a born and raised San Diegan. San Diego needs to realize that this is not our money that we're spending. If the owners can afford it, then you pay for Soto, you pay for Snell, you pay for whatever to get the best players you can.
Sure.
We're not the Chargers. It's not like we have the Chargers owners who try to offset all the money to the city. It's the owners' money. Let them spend it and get the best players we can.
But Nick, and stay right where you are, the owner, we've been led to believe, at least from people that cover the team, is saying the payroll's coming down. So it was up.
He can't spend unlimited money
anymore. It was up. It was great the last couple of years. I'm with you, but what if it's coming down? What if they're not going to keep spending money?
I would rather try to get rid of Yu Darvish than Soto, and especially try to keep Snell.
100%.
I would too.
1,000%. You're spot on. Thank you, Nick, for the call. The problem is they signed him.
So much easier said than done. Who's going to take a 39-year-old pitcher that is owed $80 million?
He's 100% right. He's right. Darvish under contract as long as he is at that money is a mistake. Bogarts under contract for as long as he is at that money is likely a mistake. Machado under contract at that money could be a mistake. And you could argue Cronenworth 80 should have gone to Kim. 100 to Darvish should have gone to Snell. We've had this. We've done this game. And you're right. But it won't be unlimited money. I know that because the payroll's not going up.
No, it's going Way down.
It's going down.
Way down.
844-570-1360. Kelly wants to chime in. Kelly, you're on with Jon and Jim. Thanks for calling.
Hey, listen, this is my first time calling, and I'm an armchair GM, as you guys well know.
We are too.
I love that term, armchair GMs.
What do you think about this? If we're going to trade Soto, make sure that we include Trent Grisham and Matt Carpenter, and then get what we can get, but get rid of all three of them at the same time.
Get rid of baggage.
What's that?
Get rid of the baggage as a way to get rid of Juan Soto.
Exactly. And Carpenter, I mean, I'm sure Melvin forced him to play. I heard you guys, everybody talk about that. He's whatever, $1 million, $2 million. He's not worth it.
Well, I think, and thanks for the first call, Kelly. Appreciate it a bunch. I think the sentiment was Melvin didn't want to play Carpenter and Preller wanted to play Carpenter.
He's making $12 million.
Yeah.
$6 million a year.
Look, Juan Soto would be the only type of player that you could potentially like attach some baggage to because, hey, you're getting Juan Soto. I just don't know if that team would want to like take on a bunch of
they'll take it on.
Trash.
They'll take it on, but you're not getting a return. So are you trying to cut ties with your mistakes?
Yeah.
Or are you trying to improve? You're not improving by getting rid of your mistakes with Juan Soto.
Yeah. You will then 100% be selling 25 cents on the dollar then.
Right, exactly.
Because it's like, hey, I want you to take this off my hands, which is like crap, but I'm throwing in like my prized possession. So that's cool, right? It's like, wait, you just give me a bunch of crap. Like,
yeah,
I don't want
he's
that.
not the player you're trying to like break even on, if that makes sense. You're not trying to move Juan Soto in an effort to get underneath other bad deals. You're trying to move Juan Soto to better you somehow. Easier said than done. Get elite, high-level talent and major league ready players immediately that can contribute. That's the only path to move Juan Soto that makes any sense. Trading a Grisham or a Carpenter with them, be like, well, yeah, they didn't get much back. Well, yeah, but they got rid of Grisham. Great.
Now,
awesome.
I think the only thing, and we've seen it before, like when Scherzer was traded to the Dodgers and they attached Turner to it, right? Like, if you want to attach anybody with Juan Soto, that's going to have to be like Joe Musgrove. If you really want to shed some payroll here, because you're going to have to give some value to get value back. And you can't be like, hey, can we throw in Darvish?
Right.
And these are conversations. So like, oh yeah. But that's my point is you throw in a bad player with a good player, you're not going to get a good return. You got to throw in a good player and a good player and to get something back.
Right. I would, if I was AJ Preller and I wanted to trade Juan Soto, I'm not including anyone other than Juan Soto. And I'm trying to maximize my return. That would be my goal if I was AJ Preller. All right. More of your reaction to this. Do you think he should be traded or not? 844-570-1360. Update in game one, Rangers and Diamondbacks as well. We have Jim's back page still ahead. Don't go anywhere. It's Jon and Jim. All right, you've been seeing the reports. You've seen on social media. San Diego officially is the most expensive city to live in right now in the United States, which means you might need some cash to pay off those credit cards or do a home improvement. And I'm so excited to tell you about the newest, fastest, easiest way to access the equity in your home. It's with Loan Pronto and the revolutionary Express Equity line of credit. It's an amazing program because you can get cash out of your home in as fast as 5 days, and you can leave your 3% mortgage intact. Loan Pronto can pull $50, $100, even $200,000 out of your record high home value. That's money you can use to pay off those crazy credit card rates with those rates of 25% or more, or use the money, do a home improvement. Maybe you're adding solar panels. And best part, 9 out of 10 won't even need an appraisal. The fact is this: rates are too high to move to a new home, but you can still use your existing equity by converting it into cash. You can be credit card debt free. It's your money. You just need an easy way to get it. Call now. See how easy it is to get a lot of cash in about 5 days with Loan Pronto's Express Equity Line of Credit. 619-207-4336. LoanPronto.com. 619-207-4336. That's 619-207-4336. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval.
All right, this update is brought to you by DraftKings. World Series game number 1 underway in Arlington, Texas. The Rangers have jumped out to a quick 2-0 lead as we head to the top of the second inning there. Check out what DraftKings has to offer this season with code SPORTS, because life's more fun when you're in on the action. DraftKings, the crown is all yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Age and eligibility restrictions do apply. Void where prohibited. See DraftKings.com for details today.
Baseball's so funny because even in a 7-game series, you're like, this series is over. Like when the Phillies led the Diamondbacks 2-0, everyone's like, there's no shot.
It's such a long
There's
series.
no shot.
See, we are such in the definitive, like, this thing's done.
Once I
It's
see
over.
something, like, it's done.
Yeah, it's
Texas
over.
scores 2 first-inning runs off Zach Allen. I'm like, this is over.
Over.
But Arizona could win tonight like 9-3.
Yeah. And they could win 4 in a row.
Exactly.
It's just.
But Texas scored first. I'm like, this is going to be a short series, right?
The second
So
inning
you
of
guys don't
baseball.
want to come out and announce that you'll retire if Arizona wins?
No,
I
not
will
going to
not do that.
I'm not going to do that.
But I would be shocked if they actually did. Actually, no, I wouldn't be. I'd be very surprised if the Diamondbacks won this series.
Nothing is surprising in the baseball playoffs.
True, I know.
Especially this year. All right, 844-570-1360. We've been taking reaction to the idea of moving Juan Soto. It looks like Matt wants to weigh in on Hassan Kim. Matt, thanks for calling in. You're on with Jon and Jim.
Hey, I think the question nobody's talking about, I think obviously Juan Soto is the hot topic, but what are they doing with Hassan Kim? I mean, if they're either going to keep him and they have to rejigger their infield, or they have to get rid of him. Do you know what the plan is with him?
Thanks for the call, Matt. I think the plan is for him to be their second baseman next year. And we've heard, the cost to keep Hassan Kim could be as high as $150 million
Right.
if he produces the same exact season next year that he did this past season.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's an improvement offensively next year, along with his elite level defense, I mean, he's
$500 million.
He's one of the best defenders in the game, maybe the best. Yeah, $150 million does not seem too far off,
Which is crazy.
for him in free agency.
Yeah, like what are they going to do with Hassan Kim? I don't think they're going to trade him, if that's the question. I mean, you got him one more year at value. So I'm kind of maximizing that really high-level player for 1 year at that value.
In the Andrew Baggerly piece, I believe it was that Friday when it talked about if the Giants came calling, Bob Melvin would be open to an interview. And he mentioned how fondly Bob Melvin thought of Hassan Kim
Mm-hmm.
and how much he respected Hassan Kim, how much he, the high level of defense that he loved from him.
So Giants trade?
Dude,
Is that what you're
that'd
saying?
be the worst case scenario for Padres.
It really would. Along with Blake Snell.
And Darren's mentioned it, how it was known that Bob didn't prefer to have Xander on this team because A, they already had a shortstop in Hassan Kim, and B, spending all that money on another shortstop when they could have gone out and spent money on another starter or bullpen pieces or outfield depth, or hell, maybe even a like real first baseman instead of moving everybody around the infield. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with Hassan Kim. I know what I would like them to do, and that'd be to lock him up for like a 5-year deal. But like we've talked about, they've already blown their load on all these other players for money, and it's just hard to envision them going out and next year before the season starts, hey, by the way, we just gave Hassan Kim a 5-year, $140 million contract.
It also doesn't make sense to move him. It doesn't make sense with him being under control at a value for a final year. I don't think it makes a ton of sense to move Juan Soto, but again, I get it. You got this 25-year-old who's going to get $400 or $500 million. Hassan Kim, I'm sure the return would be nice for a year of Hassan Kim, but I'd rather maximize him in a Padres uniform for a year and then see what happens. I mean, maybe you can keep him. There's a ton of questions. AJ Preller acknowledged that whenever it was this week, saying that we've added an additional layer by now needing to hire a manager. And we knew even without that, there's a lot that's going to have to be determined this offseason. So, yeah, it's a fair point. Hassan Kim, he's got 1 year left on the deal. So maybe he is someone you would listen on. That would another name that would be really deflating for Padres fans if he left. Hassan Kim. I mean, that would be super deflating for Padres fans based on the last year or two.
Yeah. If this team had like 15 Hassan Kims, the mindset, the ability, Like, it's just that's the type of player that you want on your team.
Sure.
You want a Ha-Seong Kim. Every team would want a Ha-Seong Kim on their team after you've seen improvement year after year. And I doubted Ha-Seong Kim after his first season. It was like, dude, this guy can't hit a fastball.
Right.
He plays great defense, and he might be in the league for a long time, but offensively, it's just going to be bad.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw improvements in his second year, but not like substantial improvements. There was still this, he can't hit the fastball. He can maybe sometimes occasionally, but he's not going to be anything special offensively. And then last year, he did things that were special on offense for him and where he was in the lineup. And you're like, this guy's invaluable. He is one of the most valuable players on this team, possibly the most valuable player on the team until the end of the year when he was hurt and he didn't really do much in September and he didn't really play a lot. And then it's like, okay.
The weird part is like, everyone's like, well, you can't run it back because you didn't win. But then we're like, Soto, keep him.
Run it back.
Ha-Seong Kim, keep him. Don't move. Like all these core pieces, hold on to. Now, again, the core pieces are only 8, 10, 12, which means you got 14, 16, 18 on the other side. There's going to be plenty of changes with the Padres. There are going to be plenty. I mean, you're going to have on the opening day roster from the end of this season, you could easily have 10, 12 new faces. Easily.
You could have a new left fielder. You could have a new center fielder.
2 or 3 starters.
2 or 3
in
starters.
your rotation. 2 or 3 pieces in your bullpen. 2 or 3 bench pieces. 1 or 2 position players. That's 10. I mean, it's very easy to envision how that could happen.
New first baseman, potentially a new backup catcher behind Campusano.
Right.
Yeah, new bullpen pieces. Obviously, a new manager in place, new coaching staff in place.
Yeah, so it's going to look a lot different. Now, maybe not. Maybe the big four, and maybe Darvish and Musgrove and Suarez are here. Cronenworth off that $80 million deal, I would presume would be here. It'll be interesting. I mean, it's fascinating. It really is. I have no clue what they'll ultimately do with this roster.
I was just thinking one player that could really calm things down if they have a season that we know that they can have next year.
Who's that?
Fernando Tatis Jr. If Fernando Tatis Jr. goes out and plays at his MVP level like he did in 2021, right? 40 plus home runs, right? MVP caliber player. He's going to play Gold Glove defense in the outfield. Hopefully he stays healthy.
Right.
He does that next year. He gives you 145, 150 games, plays Gold Glove right field, and puts together an offensive juggernaut season. That's gonna calm a lot of things, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's a good point. I mean, his 2021, there's a lot of people that use like the Acuna year this year. If you go back a year prior, off injury, it was a fine year, but it wasn't a special year. And then Acuna puts up like one of the most gaudy offensive years ever. I don't know if Tatis will do that. But is it that hard to imagine he'll be better considering he missed a year and was still productive?
Right. He still had a very fine offensive season.
Yep.
I mean, it wasn't anything close to his regular numbers. Like, what did he finish with?
The part where it really dropped was his power. So 611 slugging in 2021 to 449. So a lot of the power came out of his bat. A lot of it. But with all that being said, do I expect that to continue with a 24-year-old player? Not really.
What was his numbers last year?
Well, he hit 257 with a 322 on base and a 449 slug for 770 OPS.
Did he have 28 home runs?
25.
25? Okay.
And he stole 29 bases and was caught just 4 times.
So it's an okay season. It's fine, but it's not what you expect to get out of a $30 million player in Fernando Tatis Jr.
Right.
Like you paid him $340 million for 14 years to get kind of pretty close to 2021.
True, but again, off, PD suspension and wrist and shoulder. It's pretty understandable.
That's why I'm not sitting here bashing him for his season. I'm actually kind of praising him for playing a full year healthy, playing Gold Glove defense in right field, being like buttoned up, not being a distraction at all. Not having any incidences, right? Because we said, look, you're on your final strike here. You can't have any more problems. You got suspended and you lied. So you got to be very buttoned up.
And he was. He was Mr. Team Guy. I didn't hear one negative thing about Tatis this year.
Not one.
In fact, I heard
thing.
Praise from Bob Melvin about his willingness to do whatever it takes from the team.
All we heard this year was about Xander and Manny little Soto, and then the dynamic between Melvin and Preller.
Yeah, those are the storylines.
That's the stories. And to his credit, Tatis was not mentioned once. Could we be wrong? Could there be things behind the scenes that we didn't know about that Tatis was involved with that it just never got out? Maybe.
Probably not.
But this organization, it eventually will always get out.
Exactly. All right, Jim's back page is on the other side, plus a World Series Game 1 update. That's next. JD Gaucho, man, sorry for the delay on this. Hopefully you're still here. I like this. Yeah, I'm an idiot. That was my bad. I just turned my mic on the radio like an idiot. Okay, here's the super chat. Thank you guys for hanging out. He says Halloween costumes are the Riddler, Charms Cherry Blow Pop, and Sugar Daddy Candy Bar. Of those three, what would Jon, Jim, and Brent look best in?
I would look best. Actually, Jon would look best as the Riddler. I would look best as a Charms Cherry Blow Pop, and Brent would look best as a Sugar Daddy Candy Bar.
Do you agree with that, Brent? Say that again.
Jim has to turn my mic on. Which Riddler though?
Which Riddler?
Jim Carrey's. I think Jon, lanky, skinny.
So what am I?
You're the Riddler.
I'm the Riddler. Okay, I'm the Riddler. You're who?
I'm a Charms Cherry Blow Pop.
Stand by. All right, World Series Game 1 update. Rangers and Diamondbacks underway, plus Jim's back page next. Cool question. Thanks, JD Gaucho. Appreciate you guys. Please subscribe if you're here. Smash the like button for us. Thank you for the super chats. We'll be back in a moment. Appreciate the support. All right, our text line is breaking news. 619 says Benji Gill's a done deal. So there's that. Thank you, 619. Our Padres insider. This is the same insider, I think, that told us Tatis and Bogarts want out. Get rid of them. Divas. Include Cronenworth on the trade, sign Soto.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, so that's also done.
A done deal.
So Bogarts and Tatis are out. Cronenworth's part of that deal. They're going to sign Soto and Benji Gill.
Love it.
Anyway, other than that,
how's your day going?
That's our Padres insider.
I love it.
619.
Should we bring them on? No,
I don't know if I trust it.
Okay.
Here's one of the unnamed sources.
Right.
Yeah.
2-0 Rangers.
Unnamed sources. Anonymous sources.
2-0 Rangers in Arlington.
Series is over.
Through 2. This game's done. This series is over.
There's no way they could come back.
Yeah, there's no way.
Remember when they fell down 3-0 to the Brewers in game 1?
Yeah.
And like 2 minutes later, it was tied.
That's right. They were down 2-0 to the Phillies in their series.
This thing's so done.
This is so done.
No reason to watch.
Who cares?
Okay, let's get to this.
All right. So as of right now, just double check. Okay. Nobody has stolen a base in this game.
Okay.
It is the top of the third inning. No one's stolen a base yet.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're wondering, is Taco Bell still doing a Taco Bell challenge? If someone steals a base, America gets a free taco. Well, yes, Taco Bell is still doing that, but with a twist.
What's the twist?
The twist is you need to be registered for their rewards program on the app. And once that happens, you can get a free Doritos Locos Taco after the steal.
Wait, do I have to be registered before the steal?
The other catch is the offer to get one expires 10 days after that stolen base.
Which is fine because you have to use the app to redeem the offer anyway.
But you don't have to be registered in advance, is what Brian says.
You can do it like right now.
Okay.
And then it's past the day of October 26th because today is October 27th.
Gym fact.
But
I like that.
If you signed up, you could have won a free medium drink by predicting who gets the first stolen base. That had to be
medium drink.
That had to be sent in yesterday.
Man, darn, we missed out on what an amazing opportunity too. A free medium drink.
Well, here comes the Arizona Diamondbacks. This game is on now.
This game's over. Arizona's going to win by 10. They've got 2 on, nobody out in the third inning.
Oh, Arizona's going to win. Easily.
They're going to win big.
Yeah, when whoever leads in the first game, whoever wins this first game, the series is over.
Yeah,
doesn't matter. Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah,
I've heard some people call him something different, like Victor Wembanyama or Nema. It's
okay.
I think it's Victor Wembanyama. I mean,
I think it'll take everyone a year, kind of like it took everyone a year to get Giannis's name right.
I still can't say
took like
Giannis's
10
name
years
right.
for me. Yeah,
Giannis Antetokounmpo. I feel like I'm butchering that.
Yeah, that's good.
But his StubHub ticket, like actual ticket, I don't know how they still produce these because usually everything's like digitally and on your phone. Actually, it's a Ticketmaster. Sorry, my bad. The Victor Wembanyama NBA debut ticket is now being sold on eBay for guess how much money? There's already been 32 plus bids on this ticket.
This is just one ticket for the game?
One ticket for the game, like an authentic ticket.
Right, that's not digital. Like
not digital.
A physical ticket.
Physical ticket.
It shouldn't be going for, why is it going for a lot of $1,100?
5,000.
You were close.
Am I?
As of right now, it is $810.
Why?
Because if Wembanyama turns into be like,
if he's the next Wilt Chamberlain,
but it's not signed, right?
No, it's just like a ticket.
Oh, it's just a ticket.
Yeah, it's not even. It's nothing
Come
about
on,
it.
man.
Yeah,
it is. Someone just scribbled on it and said it was French.
Right. No, I'm not spending $800 on that. I'm not a big like, I have the ticket from like Iverson's debut. Like, is that? I mean,
back in the day, it meant something.
Yeah, but
I felt like back in the day, if you went to like a World Series game, and they might still do it, I don't know.
World Series actual ticket.
But you had like a World Series actual ticket.
You
or
could get like a placard for around your neck and put it in it.
Or like a Super Bowl actual ticket.
Yeah,
they might still do that for the Super Bowl.
Definitely for the Super Bowl.
But I think those are kind of cool. But for just like regular season game tickets or like playoff tickets, like give me a break.
Tie game. Arizona's winning.
Game. Oh wow.
2-2. Corbin Carroll triple.
Could we be in for a actual maybe good series?
We could. We
thought this thing was over. But Corbin Carroll, how you doing? And finally here, John, cup noodles.
Cup of noodles?
The cup of noodles. Yeah,
Mhm.
the ramen noodles.
Yeah.
This is a big development. This is a massive
excited.
development in cup noodles. Usually you can't put them
Now they don't require water.
in the microwave because of like the styrofoamness of it. So it's like hard to put that in the microwave. Beginning in 2024, the company will officially shift towards a new cup made from paper, phasing out the styrofoam parts of it. The change is historic, according to the company. The white cup noodles will continue to have the same satisfying taste and iconic look. We continue to find ways to evolve the brand and support the current needs of our customers. This is a new way of doing things that they're saying, and the cup will now be microwavable.
I didn't even know like styrofoam was still around other than cup of noodles. You know, I mean, they've been in that game a long time.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah,
So usually you just put hot water in it. Put hot water in it, and then it cooks it. But now with the new cup,
microwave that thing.
You can put that maybe in the microwave.
That's revolutionary. Is that going to change the price from like no dollars to more?
Probably make it more expensive.
Yeah,
probably. But hey, if it's $1.30 now instead of like
$1.10, how much are those things?
They're literally like $1.30.
Like
how much are the ramen like? You know, plastic pack.
Oh god, those
are
even
cheap.
less, right?
Yeah, you can
69 cents.
3 for $1, 2 for $1.
Yeah, I think they're cheaper. It's not even that. I think you get like a whole like thing for $5.
For free.
Yeah.
All right, guys. If you missed anything today, sportssd.com, iHeartRadio app, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Spotify. If you're listening to us on a podcast, if you're watching on YouTube, search for Jon and Jim 760. Please leave a review as well. Also, you can find us on social media at Jon and Jim, JONANDJIM. We are back on Monday, and by we, I mean Jim and Brent. For Brent and Jim, I'm Jon.
Wait, what?
Keep it here. It's not really all new, but it's San Diego Sports 760. Stay with us. Have a good weekend.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Peace out.
Every so often. Thank you.
Question. Love this question.
I love this. It's like post-show question.
Yeah.
Okay, Brent, you got to come in here for this. Brent, we're going to need your answer on this. What local food spot would you add to Petco Park? We all have to answer that. Okay, that's from Every So Often. It is a thrilling question that we all love.
Local food?
Cup of noodles.
I feel like the like.
Whoop.
Oh,
safe?
he's safe.
Maybe out. He's ruled safe. Okay. Local food spot.
I feel like they already have like every local food
No,
spot.
they don't have every. They have like 4.
I'm thinking of like oh, I know. The taco stand.
Taco stand's not in there?
No.
Taco stand's not in there. Okay.
No.
All right. So the taco stand. Okay. Brent wants In and Out. Is that local?
It's like a California thing. Like local to San Diego.
Wendy's. What about your?
What about Nova?
Are they not in there?
No.
I do love some Nova kombucha.
Yeah, but it's not like food.
Yeah, it's not food. All right. So you say taco stand. What about that other like iconic like taco joint? You know what I'm talking about?
El Gordo's?
Yeah. Is that in there?
No.
El Gordo's, I'll say. That place is legit. I don't know how you do that in the ballpark, though.
Yeah.
Frank, give us one more.
Taco stand. Taco stand's a good one.
Oh,
yeah.
Long Island Mike's Pizza is Brent's
they
suggestion.
They have a pizza joint in there. Yeah.
All right, I like it. Every so often, what do you say? Put it in the comments here.
Yeah, Tacos El Gordo.
Yeah, Tacos El Gordo.
That's a good one. It's a great one. I love that place.
All right, man. Thank you, guys. Thanks for hanging out today. We're back on Monday. Appreciate it. Have a good weekend.
Peace out. Bye.
Bye-bye.